Ladies and gentlemen, Joey Diaz.
This is Overcast.
Gundo.
How many times have we planned to do this and it fallen out?
When I pulled up, I go, he ain't home.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I go, he ain't home.
No, of course I'm
I'm
home.
even scared to call him because he's going to tell me he's somewhere else and he'll be here in 20 minutes.
No.
I was out there like 8:45, and a friend of mine called me from Jersey. I went to San Francisco last week.
Yeah?
I took the girls and I met my buddy
How great
from
is
Jersey that had a 9-year-old daughter, and I've been hanging out with him since we were kids, since we were 14. And it was so funny. We were at dinner the first night, and I looked at him and I go, remember the night that we went to see The Evil That Men Do with Charles Bronson on a Sunday night? We walked to the movie theater. He's one of these guys that likes to walk,
Yeah.
like in the weirdest times. You could be fucking hammered, he'll go, let's walk. We walked to a movie theater like 2 miles away, walked back, and then we stayed out and we got fucking hammered. And I go, you remember that night? He goes, yeah. I go, did you ever think that we'd be eating dinner in our 50s with our daughters at a dinner table in San Francisco?
Yeah.
It was just mind-boggling. I mean, I knew this kid since, you know, I've been at the hospital with this guy. I've been in 1,000 places with this guy. So to be at a dinner table at a restaurant eating, and I'm talking to his daughter, and it's just like, I know his mother. I grew up with the mother. Like, I grew up with the mother when she was dating somebody else. Like, when we were 14, when I was 16, she was 14. Like, I've known the mother that long, since she was an 8th grader. And I was a sophomore in high school. I've known the girl's mother. And now she dates him. They've been married for like 9 years, 10 years or something. And it's just so weird how life turns out. Like, this guy I used to run scams with 40 years ago. And now he's a top-notch longshoreman, you know, well-respected, good money, great fucking apartment in a building overlooking the George Washington Bridge. Just, it's really weird how life turns out, you know.
Do you ever think like that sliding doors scenario, like what would have happened had you not, like what would have happened if had you made a couple decisions and just stayed there?
If I would have stayed in Jersey in 85, I would have died.
You think?
I know. I know.
You think just drugs or bad shit?
Just, I was picking at the wrong beehive. You think about, like, I was thinking about young people. Like, I have 2 people that I hang out with that are pretty young. And the differences between both of those guys are the same age. One's a comic, one's not. One is college educated, one's not. The one that's a comic is not college educated, but he's so solid as a young kid. Like, I'm talking about Lee and my friend DiAgostino. Like, Lee went to college. He's an intelligent guy, but he bought the smoke and mirrors where DiAgostino didn't go to college, and he didn't buy the smoke and mirrors.
Yeah.
Like, Lee would do things that DiAgostino would never do. DiAgostino's a little bit more, I don't know how to call it, solid in a way. I love Lee. You know, I'm not saying nothing bad about him. These are just little things I noticed. When I was young, I had the same problem as Lee. I didn't listen. The mafia, what are they going to do to me? I know people. I didn't know nobody. What are they going to do to me, you know? I had already fucked with them a little bit with some jewelry that they wanted, and I robbed, and they tried to make me a deal, and I was like, fuck you.
Yeah.
I'm not giving you shit. I had robbed this house one time, and it was the weirdest thing. Like, I robbed it, moved the stuff. It was out of my mind. And about a week later, I'm taking a shower, and the people I'm living with go, hey, there's somebody at the door. And I go to the door, and I'm like, hey, man, what's up? And he goes, you don't know me. My name is such and such. I'm a friend of this person. We broke down what happened, and we know you robbed it. And we want the stuff back or the money within 2 days. And we're going to send people to come get you. Like, I never heard back from them. Like, never.
Yeah.
Like, I told them, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, I lied the whole time, and I denied it. But then I had picked this, I was robbing these drug dealers in the 80s, in the early 80s. And I was just robbing them on a weekly basis. Eventually, somebody was going to shoot me.
Yeah.
But I had robbed this one guy, and he was after me. Like even years after I was gone, my friends would say, "Dog, I saw that dude on the motorcycle at Corky's." Like, he couldn't believe it. And I had friends of his, and that guy that was looking for me is about 80 years old now, and he lives in Key West. And I have friends in Miami that see him, and he still says, "If I ever see that motherfucker, tell him I'm going to put a bullet in him." Like, every time I play Miami or Fort Lauderdale, like, for a minute I worry about him. Like, because he was that after me.
Really?
Like, he was that. Like, one day it was about a drug. It was about drugs. I didn't pay him his money, and I thought he was going to go away. Like everybody else goes away. After a while, they just go away. I didn't go. He didn't go away. This guy didn't stop. Like, I thought once the last time I saw him would be the last time I saw him. 2 days later, I'm walking out of a hotel room, and he's chasing me on a motorcycle.
Really?
Yeah, he was 50-something at the time. This guy was a fucking nut. And then
Italian, Cuban?
Cuban. And he chased me into a deli, and the deli owner told him, "Get the fuck out of here." And then I would hear from friends of mine, that dude was around. That dude was around. That dude was around. And then this is the craziest thing. Like, I beat him in October of 84. Like, in October of 84 was when that went down. He followed me and looked for me till like January of 85. Okay? June of 80. Now, I disappeared. I moved to Cliffside Park, New Jersey. I moved to Dumont. I'm moving around a lot in those days.
Yeah.
But I settled on Cliffside Park like in February, and I stayed there till June. I knew I was leaving in June. I knew I was leaving. I was getting a settlement from an accident, and I just knew it. I had laid low for a while. I stopped snorting. I didn't go out at night. I didn't go to any of my usual spots. I lived.
Did you have dreams at that time? Like, were you sitting on the couch going like, "I'm getting this money, and here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start like." Did you have any insights on like what you wanted?
No. I was 22, and I had no idea what my next move was. I had no idea whatsoever. I was 22, and 21.
So I think about that sometimes. Like one of the things that impresses me the most about you is that you're calculated in what you want, and you're calculated in how you want to do this business. Like, you're the reason I don't do Sundays. You're the reason I don't think anyone does Sundays anymore. Because the way you looked at it was, you need to be for your family there Sunday, have Sunday dinner, be there Monday, be there all week as much as you can.
Yeah, but I didn't know this. I didn't figure this out. When I was a feature act and I had no wife, I figured that out.
Really?
Like, when I was a feature act making $500 a week, I was like, what am I doing here on a Sunday?
Yeah.
And then when clubs would hire me, I'd go, I can't do that Sunday because I'm shooting a movie. I mean, this went on for a while.
Yeah.
And I battled with Rogan. Before Rogan had his kids, he would always work Sundays. And I go, I'm leaving Sunday.
Yeah.
Joe, you can't do that. I'm leaving Sunday, bro. And then he started getting it. Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Sunday, you're just wasting my time. It's 100 people that don't really want to be here. And when you're not selling tickets, it's even worse.
Yeah. That's when they pay for the room.
That's when they pay for the room.
My Cincinnati Sundays were all black.
Yeah. They pay for the room.
Yeah.
And you're dying. And the whole time you're like, why? And they fuck you because you can't even take a red eye out. The show ends right as the cutting point. It's always something. So at least if I can take a red eye out, and as long as I'm back home by Monday morning, I'm good. But that's not the...
That's my thing right now is like, I know I'm not saying I'll never get to the place where I'll be able to take a private jet, but like, I don't think I'll ever get to the place where I can rationalize spending that much money to fly private. But I do get to these moments on the road sometimes where I go, oh, if I could get on a plane right now,
yeah,
that's worth a lot of money.
A lot of money. But no, at 22, I had no idea, Bert.
Because that's what I wonder. Like, you're so...
No idea, Bert.
Really?
I was looking for a miracle. I was going to bump into a suitcase filled with 20 kilos.
Yeah.
I was going to rob someone.
I was looking for a miracle is a great...
Yeah.
That's, Joey, that's so many people. So many people, including myself. When I was in college, I was looking for a miracle.
Well,
I was like, I could... An inheritance that I didn't know about.
Something.
German bonds.
Something. It was like, something's going to happen. Last night I was talking to somebody how flying is different now.
Yeah.
Flying is so bad now because people don't go on planes to get fucking hammered no more. 20 years ago, a plane was comprised of people walking around, talking, drinking, buying that guy a drink, buying that guy a drink. And I'll never forget, I was coming to Colorado. I was getting to the story that I had last heard from my friends that he was looking for me in January of 85.
Yeah.
And I still talk to my friends. They never brought him up again. And I was leaving on a Sunday from Newark at 4 o'clock. Everything in my life was going great. It was Saturday night. I had the cash in my pocket from the settlement. I bought some clothes. I squared with all my friends and then some. Like if I owed you $800, I gave you the 8, and I took you out, and I used a stolen credit card, and I got your suits, jewelry. I took care of all my friends before I left. Anybody who brought me food in hotel rooms, anybody who gave me $20, when I took those credit cards, I took care of all of them. I had a girl that worked at Joan and David, Shoes by Ann Taylor. Joan and David.
Yeah.
She was a general manager, and she would read the cards for me and let me know how much was on them.
Yeah.
So she would let me know. So her deal was, you use the cards, you buy me a pair of fucking $600 shoes.
Yeah.
So I would go in there, buy a pair of shoes. She'd tell me what was left on the card in those days, and I'd fucking rape and pillage her mall.
Yeah.
She was like the Willowbrook Mall in New Jersey. So that night I get together with my friends, no snorting, and I go to this bar in Union City, New Jersey.
I've been to Union City.
Rule number 1, don't go back to where the war was. I went right back into the heart of it. I'm at this place, 7 minutes, and my cousin walks in, who I grew up with, and he's a cop now. And I go up to him and give him a hug, and he's very he goes, hey, man, a lot of people are looking for you. He was in somebody's pocket at the time. He was helping these Cubans, and one of them was looking for me. And I'm like, what are you saying? We're cousins. You sold me out? Well, you can't be doing that. Who gives a fuck what I'm doing? You know what I'm saying? So that was strike number 1. Like, I knew something was... I just started talking to that guy 2 years ago. He even came out here and apologized to me.
Your cousin?
Yeah, he got thrown off the police force. The guy died that he was working for that was looking for me. And he came out here, and now I talk to him. He's a big-time jiu-jitsu guy.
Oh, really?
So now I talk to him, but for a long time, I wouldn't talk to him.
Yeah.
And I told him one time, I go, that day... And he apologized. He explained to me what was going on. Not 2 minutes after that, this girl from high school comes up to me, and she goes, how you doing? Real hot girl. Her kids come to my shows now. She's dead. One of the hottest women you've ever seen in your life. Big fucking tits, real. I never slept with her. We were just drug buddies.
Yeah.
She used to get me into Studio 54 and Xenons when I was 21 because she was so good looking. And she came up to me. She goes, can we have a word? And she goes, listen, did you rob that house? And I was trying to deny it. I'm like, no. And she goes, they know it's you. And they've been looking for you. They know it's you. The cops are involved, but I think they got the cops for the insurance. They're looking for you. And I go, okay. And she goes, if I was you, I'd go home because this bartender's friends with them.
Oh, shit.
So, I mean, I gave the bartender...
That's something I would have never thought of.
Oh, my God. I gave the bartender a tip, got in the car, and I couldn't stop shaking. Like this girl, because the robbery she was talking about was supposed to be like nobody knew who it was.
Yeah.
They thought it was me, but they really couldn't pinpoint where I was. It was me. And there was a lot of jewelry and a lot of blow, and these people were looking for me. They had called the cops and told them they didn't know who it was, but they knew. So I got in the car, left. I said, it's over. Really doesn't matter because I'm going to sleep this off. I'm going to wake up in the morning. I'm packed, and I'm getting the fuck out of here. I'm getting ready to leave. I got the 4 o'clock flight. I wake up, eat breakfast, talk to my roommate. He's going somewhere on a Sunday, so I got to take a bus to North Bergen, Kennedy Boulevard, and then take another bus to Jersey City where my friends is going to take me for a fucking to the airport.
Yeah.
I take the first bus. I get off at White Castle. I'm sitting there. I got my luggage. I got 18 grand in my pocket. I got another check for like 10 grand from the bank. And I hear a motorcycle. but it's one of those the Japanese one,
Those
where
four-stroke deals
where the guy's hunched over.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So I go, Gabby is too old to be hunched. I didn't even. No, I can't lie to you. I didn't even think about it like that.
Yeah.
I just heard this motorcycle, looked up, and I looked back. I didn't even think about it. And all of a sudden, I hear, and all of a sudden the bike is getting closer to me, and it's the guy. And he flips open his thing, and he goes, "You never brought me that fucking cash." He goes, "I was just going for a Sunday ride." He goes, "I always carry a gun. I went for a Sunday ride. I didn't carry my gun, or you would have been dead right now." He goes, "The next time I see you, I'm going to shoot at you, motherfucker." And he put his lens and took off. I got on that fucking bus trembling. I didn't have a weapon on me at the time.
Yeah.
I was scared shit that he was going to follow the bike. I got to my friend's house. I told him what had happened. We got in the car. He dropped me off in Newark. I was headed to Colorado Springs. But
Why Colorado Springs?
Because a bunch of people told me to go to Colorado Springs. I hated Boulder. I had already been to Boulder. There was a bunch of hippies and shit. And it just wasn't for Uncle Joey at the time. I was too uptight and shit.
I can't imagine you in Boulder.
And this black guy was like, "You ain't going to Boulder? You going?" No, he goes, "You ain't going to Colorado Springs. That's a soldier town. Go to Boulder. That's pussy." At the time, I hadn't been laid in 8 months.
Really?
Like, I hadn't gotten a piece of pussy since like November of 84.
Yeah.
It was July of 85. The plane was such a party. I hit on the waitress, and she bit. It was People's Express. It was like $69 direct to Denver from Newark. I used to use phony credit cards to fly on them because you paid on the plane.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Nobody remembers that shit.
That's back when they had to...
Yeah.
I remember that.
There was no direct. They don't know you got robbed till they land a day later.
Yeah. We went to Greece, and they had to use those. And my buddy just really insightfully goes, "So just out of curiosity, how long does it take for you to ship that piece of paper to my bank before I get my thing?" And the guy goes, 3 months. He was like, "Oh, bar shots for everybody."
Yeah, they don't in those days.
Yeah.
So you had a couple days, you flew for free.
Yeah.
We used to fly for free because they used to charge you on the plane. So they would give you a tab, and then let's say you got 3 sodas, 2 beers, a pillow, a salad, and they give you a tab at the end of the flight.
Yeah.
You just give them a phony credit card.
So you're walking around. Is this when you could smoke on planes, too?
You could smoke on planes. I wasn't smoking, though.
Really?
I got on that plane.
Wait, when did you start smoking?
When I moved here. I never smoked a cigarette in my life until I moved to Los Angeles, and I saw people smoking before they went on stage.
Really?
And I go, "That's weird. Why do people smoke before they go on stage?"
You don't smoke anymore, right? No. You haven't had a cigarette in probably
2 or 3 years,
Yeah.
4 years maybe. I smoked some cigarettes last year when I was shooting my special. For some reason, I just shot some. Just that night, some guy was smoking. Let me get a cigarette. But besides that, I won't smoke.
So you go to Colorado Springs.
I'm headed to Colorado Springs.
You're on the plane. People are walking
some
around.
black dude. It was a party. It was a fucking total party.
Yeah.
And some dude's like, "What are you going to do, Cube?" I go, "I think I'm going to go to Colorado Springs." He goes, "Go to Boulder." Right there, I made up my decision. I hooked up with the chick. We went to a hotel. We fooled around. I got up the next morning, went to Boulder with my luggage, got a Boulder newspaper, looked around for an apartment, got a hotel for 1 or 2 nights, got the apartment up on the thing. When I was walking at the street, another girl had a newspaper.
Really?
And she goes, "Excuse me, do you know where this is?" And I go, "No, I'm looking for this other address."
Yeah.
And she goes, "Are you looking for an apartment too?" And we started talking. Really cute girl. We started talking. I go, "I like that place." She goes, "I'm going to get that place." So after we both moved in, I saw her on the street. Like a day later, I'm like, "How are you?" And we started talking.
And this is in Boulder?
And it's in Boulder. This is my first week in Boulder. I just slept with the stewardess. I had been on a fucking cold streak for 8 months. I just slept with the stewardess.
Kind of like in Boulder.
I'm talking to this girl, and she's like, "You want to come over and have a beer?" I go, "Sure." We have a couple beers. I smoked some pot. I had some pot from Jersey. I brought like an ounce just in case. And we said, and out of nowhere, I'll never forget this. This girl goes, "You know, I'm a virgin, but I love giving blowjobs." So I would just go over there a couple nights a week and get a quick blowjob from her.
And you're like, "I'm a virgin too, but I love getting blowjobs."
Oh, my God. And she had like a dirty roommate, like a really pretty girl that had a boyfriend like in the Army or something. And like this went on, me and this girl, we never fucked. I never saw what her body looked like. She would just dispense blowjobs. That's it.
Really?
College girl, 24, maybe 23. I joined this gym, and they were the girl I was messing around with belonged to the gym. So they have a barbecue one day at this resort in Boulder. I'll never forget this. And we all go. Well, I'm living there 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And I'm at the table with the roommate. And she's like, I really miss my boyfriend. And I'm like, really? How long have you been with him? She goes, 8 months, but I really miss him. And she goes, you know what I'm saying, for other reasons. I could really go for a cock and all this shit. And I'm sitting at the table. They're playing volleyball. And I just look at this girl and I go, do you really need cock that bad? She goes, oh, my God, I would do anything for a cock. I go, what would you do? She goes, I'd suck it and then shove it in my pussy. And I'm like, and there was a wall, like a brick wall, maybe 3-4 feet high.
Yeah.
I go, you know what? Right now, me and you could go right over there and nobody would know. She goes, I know, let's go. And while they were playing volleyball and 20 other people from the gym, me and this girl climbed over that little brick wall and we got naked. It was outside in the street. We got completely naked and started fucking like it was nobody's business. And then her roommate, the girl I was
I'm envisioning.
Oh my God.
The wall from what's the movie? What's the movie about the prison with Morgan Freeman and
oh yeah.
What's it, Shawshank Redemption? Do you remember that wall at the very end where the guy hides the note? That's what I'm envisioning.
That's how it is. It's a wall. Then the girl caught me with her roommate, and that was it. We got into a brawl, and
no more blowjobs.
But it was like, fuck. I slept with for fucking 8 months. I couldn't get a piece of pussy, and then my first month here, I get like 3 pieces of ass. 3 of them tremendous.
Was it all white people in Colorado then?
At that time, yeah.
Especially Boulder.
Yeah, Boulder was weird. Boulder was great at that time. I could still fucking remember it like it was yesterday. It took me about 3 or 4 days to get weed. And the girl that sold weed was next to me. She was about 55, ugly as all get out. And she had a 20-year-old boyfriend who his father invented Q-tip. Like
Really?
the grandfather. I'm just saying this, guys.
Yeah.
His grandfather invented something huge. Like he didn't have to work.
Yeah.
His kids didn't ever have to work.
Yeah.
And his kids would never have to work. And they played the whole hippie shit.
Really?
Yeah, he was a hippie. Even though he would get $80,000 a week in checks, he was a hippie. He was dirty. They made believe they had no money. They were those type of people. But they sold some tremendous weed.
I bet.
And I bought weed from her all the time. And then I met this Vietnam vet in there. His name was Ed. And that was my first friend in Boulder. If I was 22, Ed was maybe 30-something. And I always thought he was a medic.
Really?
Yeah, like I always thought in our conversations, he said something about a medic. Now, I met Ed in 85, and I was always friends with Ed, but I never really went to his home. And after I got divorced in 92, he invited me to his house to get high one day, and he lived over by Chautauqua. He had a little house like this, and he paid like $400. The Army paid for it, or whoever he was in. I think he was an Army Ranger.
Yeah.
I always thought he was a medic. And I went to his house in 92. And it was like a house of horrors. In glasses, he had fingers. He had ears. He had been to the White House. He had won so many fucking medals that you couldn't even put him on the walls. He had done like 3 or 4 tours of Vietnam. I think his kill zone rate, I mean, the battalion he was in, they wrote a book about.
Really?
His name is in there, like a cold stone killer. They're the ones that come after and clean up everything and shoot everybody and make sure they're dead. He was one of those dudes.
Really?
And it was really crazy experience because he was kind of not the smartest guy in the world. But he knew how to kill. That was his main thing, was killing. And once I started asking him questions, it was fucking scary. Like, there you go, a little something for the podcast. A little protein. You know what I'm saying? A little protein overload. Like Boulder, I always tell people that I grew up in New Jersey and in New York City, but I became a man in Colorado. And I'll tell you something, man. All those years I lived in Colorado, I was around more killers than I was growing up.
How so?
I attracted those people in Colorado. So these were people that had a past, and they ship them off to Colorado. The service has a lot of those guys. In those days, I don't know what it is now.
Yeah.
I met probably 3 high-end service guys in Colorado in my 12 years there. Guys that were like, I met a guy in Aspen that they would send a helicopter to come get him.
Really?
This guy would walk around like once in a while with his suit on, and it was just a fucking wall of medals. And he was like a colonel, lieutenant colonel, and he was still an advisor, and we were living in Snowmass Village, and the helicopters would still pick him up at Aspen Airport to take him to like weird places. And then there was this other guy I met. He was the scariest one of them all. He became my brother. He taught me everything.
Really?
And when I was 22 years old, he took my mind, and he was exactly what I needed, but not really.
What do you mean?
Like I went to his house a few times with his wife. I was friends with his wife. His wife would come over to where I lived with my buddies, and they would smoke. His name was Fred. Fred never really smoked. Fred sat at home and smoked cigars and drank beer. He was from Norfolk, Virginia.
Yeah.
I went over there a few times to meet him. He didn't seem like anything special. We clicked, and he would say, if you want to sleep over, you can sleep over, and I'll take you back in the morning. So we would go over, eat dinner. Me and Joy would get high, and then me and this guy would watch TV. I left to New Jersey, and when I came back, Scarface was the big movie. And it wasn't out yet on DVD, on whatever yet. It hadn't hit.
Yeah.
Him and I were having a discussion one night about the weapon. And he was like, he looked at me weird. Like, when Joy went to bed, he got up and he pulled his couch. And it was against a wall. And under that was a metal plate. And under that metal plate, that guy had a fucking battalion of weaponry. He had the Scarface machine gun. He probably had 3 or 4 of those.
That fucking that
couple of rocket launchers. So this guy, I at that time, my mission was to go to Colorado, clean out a little bit, get my head together, get a few weapons, and go back to Jersey and clean house.
Yeah.
That was the plan. Go back to Jersey and clean house. All those motherfuckers that were fucking with me,
yeah,
I'm going to go get them. They're not going to come get me no more. I'm going to go get them.
Yeah.
So I started shooting with him on Saturdays. So on Saturdays, every fucking Friday night, I'd go to his house. His wife would pick me up. I'd go to his house. I'd work all week. Saturday morning, we'd wake up, and we'd go buy bullets for handguns. All the other bullets he'd make and get to me for the big ammunition. And we would just go shoot. And he would teach me how to shoot A to Z.
Really?
He taught me how to make explosives, how to do the wire stuff, how to kill people with gases. I mean, it was crazy. It was like an education. It was like a 6-month education of every Saturday and conversations on the phone. And then he had a plan. He wanted to rob Aspen Bank on Christmas Day on snowmobiles. Christmas Eve on snowmobiles, right before the bank closed.
Makes such a great fucking
movie. Oh, my God.
That makes such a great movie.
Oh, my God. This guy wanted to rob Aspen Bank Christmas Eve.
Oh.
He did the math because his wife was an accountant for one of the biggest businesses in Aspen. And they figured out how much money goes into those banks during the Aspen vacation.
Yeah.
So he wanted to rob Aspen Bank. Me, him, and 2 other Vietnam vets he was friends with. So he was training me how to do the mobiles. He was teaching me how to do alarm systems. So what I was doing in turn was I was living in Snowmass Village, robbing everything. So I was practicing what he was teaching me in Snowmass Village, like the moron that I am. So I would, my other roommate made me a tool, and I would break into drug dealers' house. That would cover my drug habit.
Yeah.
So I would rob little drug dealers from time to time.
Were you doing coke at the time?
Oh, fuck yeah, but nobody knew.
Really?
I walked around like, no, I'm a straight guy. I was big. I had muscles. I worked out. So I told people, no, I don't do drugs. I did more drugs than anybody. I smoked dope. So whenever people talked about coke, they wouldn't suspect me because I didn't do coke.
Yeah, and you never usually think coke guys are marijuana guys.
I was robbing a bunch of these coke dealers, but then I started robbing businesses. I would take pictures of the alarm systems, give them to him. He would tell me what wires to cut, and I would fucking rob the businesses. I was crazy, man.
Wow.
I was young, crazy, and there was no way I wanted to work. Like, there was no way I wanted to work.
You know, you said something that's so fascinating. That's just the type of people you draw. A certain type of. Everyone draws a different type of person. Like, I draw a certain type of person.
Yeah, you draw people,
and it's so fascinating. I don't think you realize that until you're older, where you start going, "Oh yeah, that's the type of friend I usually have." Like, I'm usually drawn to, like, I'm drawn to these guys, and they're drawn to me. My wife did it with. She was always drawn to, like, really aggressive, almost like toxic women. You know. And so it wasn't until we started dating that I was like, "Hey, you got to get away from those women. They're all a derivation of her mom, you know."
It's funny. Somebody once asked me if I get him heroin, and I go, "I did coke for all those years," and maybe one person asked me if I wanted heroin.
Yeah,
because coke people attract coke people.
Yeah,
weed people attract weed people. Somebody's not going to knock on your man cave and go, "Hey, do you guys know where I get some crack?" Just looking. Because it's weird. So that's how I learned from that. I learned that when you carry a weapon, it's a magnet. It attracts other people with weapons.
Really?
It's the weirdest thing. Strap a weapon on, and after 3 months, you start hugging people, and they got weapons. And you're like, what the fuck's going on?
What's up with all the weapons?
What's up with all the fucking weapons?
That's so fucking interesting. Now, wait, when did you stop drawing people that were, when did you start drawing that type of person? Because everyone you hang out with now is like...
Maybe like 2000, 99.
Yeah?
When I first got here, I got into some problems with some people. I mean, that's Josh Wolf, like the first 90 days.
Josh Wolf had a very interesting insight on the growth you've had, like, as a man. He's like, you know, you love Joey more when you see how he was to where he is. You love him more. I was like, I don't get it. And he's like, it's really hard to explain. But he's like, you know, he goes, you know how, like, comedy clubs sometimes will only see you as a feature. If you feature there, they only see you as a feature. If you host there, they only see you as a host. If you come in as a headliner, they see you as a headliner, despite the fact if you were a feature or host the week before. Josh Wolf was saying it's like that, but, like, with friends, you watch them grow. He's like, he was in essence, and I from what I gathered, he was like, you would be amazed that Joey's the man he is today.
Amazed.
Like, amazed. But I only know you as... like a super loving dad.
Amazed.
That's it, really.
No, it's
like, when I hear stories about you not showing up with doing Joes with Joe, I go, no, not Joey. Like, and they're like, oh yeah, that's why he started bringing Ari, because he would bring you, and you just disappear. You're like, dog, I wasn't feeling it. I had to go.
I was fickle. I'm really fickle. If something's not going my way, I just don't want to do it.
Yeah.
You know, I love Joe with all my heart. I enjoy hanging out with him and laughing and doing everything we do. When you're doing drugs, it overshadows everything.
Really?
You know? Yeah. Like, I remember we went to Vegas one time, and it was a UFC on a Saturday and a theater on a Friday. And I basically didn't see them till the airport.
Really?
Like, after the show, I went up and did my 15 minutes. Joe got off stage. He goes, where's Joey? Joey's gone. I would never wait around. If I had a package in my pocket, you're only going to see me for 3 minutes after I get off that stage.
Really?
There was no hanging out.
Now, did Joe know?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
It was killing him. It was killing him as a human being.
Really?
Because he kept
Was
tolerating
Joe
it.
smoking weed at that time yet?
Yes and no.
What do you mean?
Yes, but not. No, he was just starting.
Yeah.
Like, for 3 years, it was really rough. Because I would call Joe the morning of and go, hey, man, I can't find my license. What are you talking about? I ain't flying. I can't find my license. My license was in my hand. I just couldn't leave my apartment.
Really?
Yeah, it was too fucking high. And he's lucky he got a call. I wouldn't even call. You know how many people are still at an airport waiting for me? There's people still in the airport calling me, going, where are you? You said you were leaving the LAX at 8 in the morning.
So then what was it? What was the connection between you and Joe that you guys remained friends even through that stuff? Like, what was the like?
I think he felt bad for me. He loved me.
How did you guys meet?
We met at the Comedy Store.
Like, tell me the
We
whole.
just. I got to the Comedy Store in 98, 97, and he was starting to come around, or he was going around there before me. He was like an unpaid regular. He had just became a regular. And, I had to follow him. He had to follow me. It was that same family, 11:45. And we started chit-chatting. And Joe was from another world, but he always took to me. But I could tell he was from another world, like he didn't understand me. And he didn't. But Joe shot pool. So all those years of shooting pool, Joe saw the other side of the fence, my side of the fence.
Yeah.
And then... So I think Joe was a little hesitant with me in the beginning, but Joe had a friend that died that Joe thought the world of, and he had a drug problem. But he was a really good pool player, so Joe accepted him. And then when he died, it really bothered Joe. So after that, Joe was in essence trying to help me.
Yeah.
For a couple of years. I mean, it was finally Joe and I would never discuss cocaine. It was always little remarks to each other, one by little remarks. One day on a plane, we were just about to take off, and he was telling me how when you have a problem in your life, it affects every other thing in your life. It really does. And I'm like, I thought about what he said. And I knew like in 2004 I was done with coke. It was just going to be a matter of time. I was just hoping it wouldn't have killed me before I stopped doing it. Ooh. It took me like 3 years to really, it took me a year to get on stage.
Yeah.
It takes you a year to get on. I'm going to do it next week. I'm going to get 10 minutes ready. You know what I'm saying? Like, it takes you. It was the same thing for me with the coke. I knew I was quitting. I just didn't know when. I was too proud to go to a rehab.
Yeah.
And I had too much pride to go to an AA program. I knew I had to beat this. So it took me 3 years of dilly-dallying, So, and it's going to be 10 years this November.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing.
Amazing.
And when you decided to stop doing coke, did you talk to Joe? Did you like one of the mistakes I see people do is with alcohol is they I guess decide they have a problem, and then they tell everyone they're alcoholics, but they're not really ready to quit drinking. And so what was a baseline problem, which was bad in their eyes and bad in some other people's eyes. When they quit and then they start up again, that becomes horrible. And then they're like, "Oh, this is their fucking this." I feel really sad for them. I'm sorry, I can't be your friend. And you're like, "Yeah, that's why. Like, if I ever quit drinking, I'll never tell a fucking soul. I'll just stop drinking and just start drinking soda water and just
hope they catch on eventually."
Yeah, who gives a fuck? I go on stage sometimes with soda water and I kill it because I'm thirsty. And people are like, "Yeah!" And I'm like, "It's just soda water, guys. It's just soda water. It looks like Tito's and soda. It's just soda water." But I don't say it. I'm like, whatever.
It's crazy.
So did Joe know you were quitting at the time?
No. I quit like November 7th, and I didn't say nothing to nobody till January. I didn't say nothing to nobody till about January. And then like in January, I could see people looking at me like, okay, whatever. And then it became February, then it became March, then it became April, and then I was clean a year. And then it wasn't my appearance or whatever anymore. It was the actions that I was doing. People could tell just by the little actions. Something's going on with him. He's losing weight. He's doing this. He's doing that.
So that Joey Karate video, do you know that one that I'm talking about where you're doing the karate moves in a parking lot?
Yeah.
Was that on coke or off coke?
I think... Oh, those were on coke. Yeah, I didn't do the videos on coke. I wouldn't snort coke.
But that was around the time, though.
Yeah, I wouldn't do coke in the daytime.
You didn't like doing coke around people. You like to go and do your own thing and do coke.
Yeah, and I didn't do it in the daytime either.
Really?
No coke and going on stage.
How could you? Oh, you never did coke and go on stage?
No.
Oh.
When I first started in 91, St. Patty's Day, I thought I was Richard Pryor. I did a bunch of blow and went on stage, and it was no bueno.
Really?
Yeah, but with blow, even if you're not on blow and you did it the night before or 2 nights in a row, it affects you on stage a lot.
Here's my question, Like, I literally only had one question this whole time because I just had a rough weekend in New York where it was just partying Sunday night, partying Monday night, Monday bled into Tuesday, and then you still are there for work. So I'm always like, that's the one thing that I'll say is that the work is the most important. So I'm there 9 a.m. for Jim and Sam, noon for Ronnie Bennington, and then the bonfire, Opie. I do it all, but I really got to one point where I was like, I was laying in bed going, man, I don't feel good. Like I've really burnt the candles at both ends, and this isn't how I want to live my life. Like I want to party, but I don't want to party like this. I was like, now granted, it's New York; it gets away from you. All your friends are there. Like everyone was doing that Skanks Fest. So I see Ari for the first time in a while. I see Nate Bargatze. I see Big J. But like Wednesday night, I looked at Big J. I was like, I just want to go to your house and watch TV. And so Big J and I just went to his house, watched TV, watched Cops, watched a couple specials, shit on them. And then I was like, that's like, I couldn't go out. And everyone was going to the stand. But how did you feel the next day when you like the next day after Coke? Like you'd say you'd start doing Coke. Like walk me through like a timeline of what a Coke night would look for you. Like you go to your spot at 11:45 at the store.
The only reason why I would leave and go to the spot is because on the way back I was going to pick up my Coke.
Really?
So as I was going to do my spot, I would call the dealer and say, I'm going to the store. I'm up in 10 minutes. 15 minutes, I'll call you when I'm headed to your house.
Yeah.
In those days, my addiction was so bad that at 8 o'clock, my mind would start giving me anxiety.
Really?
My body would start giving me anxiety, and I couldn't focus. And I couldn't really think, and I couldn't hear. Like when people be talking to me, I'd just be like in this pain, and I wouldn't know anything until I was really getting the $60 out of the ATM machine. Like I'm not lying to you. I wish I was lying to you. Like I wouldn't even stop for red lights.
Really?
I wouldn't stop for red lights. I would go straight on Selma. That's like a side street in Hollywood. I would cut, no stop signs, no nothing. I would look to see if people were coming, but I wouldn't even stop. That's how much the Coke had control over me. And this pain, like in the middle of my chest, and I would get like this anxiety and like this hole. And I would go to Hollywood Rock and Roll Rouse on, I don't know what it is.
I think it's like Sunset or Sunset and Poinsettia.
Sunset and Poinsettia. And then my dealer at the time was on a block east of Sunset and La Brea. So I would basically just make a U-turn on Sunset. Go 4 blocks, I'd go right, and he'd be right outside. He'd give me the Coke, and then I'd go home. All right, now, every night was different. Let's say I did Coke 4 nights in a row. That means that 5th night, I'm not going to get as high as the other. Even if the Coke is outrageous, I already did an 8-ball of it the night before.
Yeah.
So I would buy a gram of Coke from this guy first, and it'd be about 11:30, and I would take it, and I would step on the gas, and while I was driving, doing the speed limit, I would break the Coke up in my hands with the baggie. I would put it on a book I had, and I would roll over like a fucking keys or something, and I would flatten out all the rocks, and I would make sure I'd catch that light. And at that light, I would roll up a dollar bill, and right at the light, I would do half that bag. If there was a gram in there, I'd do half a gram and 1 snort. And then I'd go home, and by the time I get home, 4 minutes later, I'd have to run upstairs and shit. So I'd run upstairs, shit, do my first jerk off, and then I'd go outside, and if the Coke was really good, I wouldn't snort for a while. But if it was men's and men's, I would keep doing bumps. If everything went as planned, that package would end by 1:15.
Yeah.
1:30. I would time it because I had a guy that bartended on Cahuenga in Hollywood, and he would leave work at 2, and he'd come right to my house. And I'd come down with a CD. I'd put the money in there, and he'd give me a CD with the Coke. And I'd go upstairs.
And so you were just doing it by yourself?
By myself. I had a little broad for a while that I would go over there and do Coke with. But if she had people there, I would leave. If she was alone, I'd try to fuck her.
So what would you do by yourself? Just write jokes or?
I make believe I was writing jokes. I would write about my life, and the next day you look at it, it's garbage.
Yeah.
I would jerk off.
Listen to music?
Listen to music. I would call chicks I knew that I could talk dirty to on the phone and tell them I want to eat their asshole. And it was crazy. I could do that till 4 or 5 in the morning, watch TV on Coke, smoke cigarettes. And there were times that if I finished that package, I would call the guy again, the black guy, and I'd go over there at 4. Because they were open till 7. He was out till 7.
Wow.
It was crazy, Bert Kreischer. It was my cocaine life was so crazy that when I quit, I had a loan from the bank for $600 a month for 6 years. I had a loan. That's how much in debt I was.
Really?
For the coke use. I had to pay the IRS. I had to pay the bank. I owed close to like $15,000 attorney fees from my divorce, and I also owed about $16,000 in fake child support, like maybe 20. And then Terry got it all handled for me, and she knocked it down to like 4.
Wait, did you meet Terry during Coke?
2000, yeah.
When you were doing Coke?
Yeah.
Really?
And I would hide it from her. She found a dollar bill one time rolled up, and she goes, "If I find another one of these, I got to ask you to leave. We'll still date, but I got to ask you to leave. We can't do this and live together." So I had to hide it from her for 5 years. And listen, you really never,
fucking amazing.
You really never hide nothing from a woman. They always know. They just give you rope.
Leanne and I were at the beach house one time. I was really hungover and like just shaky. Like I was just fucking shaky. And so I took a Xanax and I calmed down immediately. And Leanne just went, "You take a Xanax?" And I'm like, "Huh?" She goes, "Did you take a Xanax?" And I went, "No." She goes, "Don't ever lie to me about drug use." And I went, "I took a Xanax." And I go, "Wait, how did you know?" She goes, "Well, you were shaky making exit 2 seconds ago, and now you call me shit in the pool." And I was like, "Oh." I was like, I thought I was totally on the fucking sly.
No, she knew. She knew something was up. I wasn't coming home till 5 in the morning. Sometimes I'd come home at 10, stay there till 2, and leave and not come back till 8 in the morning. I was a nut. I was a fucking nut. That poor girl,
Fucking insane.
That's insane.
What was the reason you stopped? Like, what was the, like...
There was 1,000 reasons. I saw that movie with the black piano player.
Ray Charles?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was baffled when they said that he snorted heroin. He did heroin till he was like in his 60s. And I sat there when I saw it and I go, wait a second. I enjoyed this. But I don't want to do this till I'm 60.
Yeah.
Like, hold on to this. Let me take this jacket off.
Sure. I think about that with booze sometimes. Like, I go, I love drinking. I love having a cocktail. But, like, at the clip I'm at right now, I don't want to do this. I don't want to be at this pace of boozing as hard as I am out on the road. I don't want to do this for, like, till I'm 60. I was like, I don't want to be 60.
No, that scared the shit out of me.
Yeah.
He snorted coke till he did heroin till he was 64 years old. I was 44.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm going to do another 20 years of this. This little secret I got going on. Bert, you know me a long time.
Yeah.
You could ask anybody. You could ask Josh Wolf. I know Josh Wolf 20 years. Do you know how many of his family parties I've been to in the days when they were drinking and stuff like that?
No. Really?
Listen, I am a very antisocial person. And the more alcohol there is, the more antisocial I am.
Really? Why?
Don't like it. I've never liked it.
Yeah?
I've never liked it.
Is that because your mom owned a bar?
Because my mom owned a bar. By the time I was 22, I was done with bars. Like, I was done. Like the kids I hung out with and grew up with loved bars. And they loved being in bars in the daytime and watching sporting events. And I would sit there and go, it's 11 o'clock in the morning, and they're talking about the 6 o'clock game. Are you fucking crazy all day?
Yeah.
Like, and this is really hard to admit because a lot of people can't wrap their heads around it about me. Like, I've never liked it. I've never liked it. I never liked sloppy drunk.
Yeah.
I don't like drunk. I believe in partying and blowing off steam. There's people who do it for the wrong reasons, and it just ticks me the fuck off. I don't put my head into it and try to break it down. I'm not a psychiatrist. I just know I never liked it. I never really liked it.
You're still not like that. You're still like that at the store. You're like, if everyone's going to hang out and have a drink, you're like, I'm going home.
I'm going home. I don't want to see nothing. Unless somebody's giving out yardsticks or sucking dicks, I'll stay. But unless, it's just really weird how I was really social for all those years, but I never really enjoyed it. I can't tell you how many concerts and places I went to, and 5 minutes after I was there, I was like, why am I here?
Yeah.
Like, this is not for me. I went to over 100 concerts when I was a kid. I think Led Zeppelin, there was a couple bands I didn't see. But the last 20 of those shows, I could tell that it was over. It was over for me. Like, it was just getting to the point where, like, why am I here? This is not what I want to do. I came here through peer pressure. My friend said it was going to be a good time. I'm not having a good time. I think
32% of all ticket sales at a concert are fucking people that don't want to be there. You know, that their friends are like, come on, you're going to love Dave Matthews.
I don't like festivals. When I see a lot of people, I get nervous.
You don't like comedy festivals, do you?
None of that shit.
Yeah.
You're going to pay my money, dog. I don't want to talk to them. I'm going to have a good time. I got a fucking kazoo. I got a kazoo and a spinner, and that's a good time for me.
Yeah.
You know? A good time is not, I can't take it no more. Like when I got my Coke, I would leave with my Coke. Bye. I try to pick up a waitress or a girl, but if not, no biggie. I go bang one out, watch fucking Showtime, and I don't have to listen to nobody's bullshit.
Do you feel like that now? Like if you like I always say, like, I love one of my favorite feelings. It's almost like I guess it's that warm blanket feeling, or like if you love reading books, like that curling up with a good book, or like if you like playing video games, that starting video games is your favorite feeling to like get home, smoke a little weed, and just sit and watch TV. Like for me, I love.
Let's run this back.
I love when we go to the store and they're like, Stanhope's in the back bar, Rogan's hanging out, Ari's here. You know, Duncan's going to be here in 20 minutes. And then I get excited. I go, like, this is what I fucking live for. And then I get overly excited, usually. But, like...
Let me give you the psychology of this.
Okay.
I had a home. I had a pool, a Puerto Rican pool like the one you have with a deck.
Yeah.
I had a basketball court. I was an only child. I had my own air conditioner. I had my own carpeting in my room growing up. I had my own HBO in my room, with the box with the string on it where it had 3 tiers.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't that I was raised spoiled. My mom had money, and that's how it was in my house. Well, one day, that 15 years of my own room and my own toys and my own window and my own space got taken away. My mom died, and I had to live with a friend of mine. Not only that, we slept on his bed. The only reason why I moved in that house is because they had air conditioning in the room.
Yeah.
Like all the other buddies who asked me to move in, I went to their house, no air conditioning. This ain't happening. You got cable? No cable. This ain't happening. I was like the top draft choice. Like if I come to your house, you got to have a good house. And the Benders owned the deli in Hoboken. There's always cold cuts in the refrigerator. They always had pasta fazool.
Yeah.
They had air conditionings and no curfew. They were the top pick choice, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
All that got taken away from me. So from the age of 15, think about this, from the age of 15, I lived on couches. I had apartments for 6 months, and they weren't really apartments. There was always a towel on the floor or a couch, or the shower didn't have a shower curtain, and I got evicted. It was always something. I never really had a home. And then I became a comic. And you never have a home when you become a comic. You go from a car to an apartment with 3 roommates to another apartment. Then I met Terry, and she had we had a 1-bedroom studio. You know, when me and Terry started dating, we were making $800 a month between us.
What was she doing when you first met
her? She was
her?
a waitress.
Yeah.
And then she got the job at Disney, and she started making good money. But our first 5 years were brutal.
Yeah.
I got the longest yard, and she got the job at Disney. But our first 4 years, it was hand to mouth. It was hand to mouth. If I did a gig and I got 500, I remember one time we're driving back from Bakersfield. We just pulled over in a Kmart and bought a TV. She had like this little black and white when I met her. When I first started dating, I bought all brand new appliances.
Yeah.
We're going to get brand new appliances. I got juicers, toasters, TVs. She had a VCR. I got a DVR. I got all the DVD. So, for all those years, I had that thing taken away where you can't have a peace of mind at night. I'd have to live with people. I have to move in with a girlfriend. The last 6 years is the first time I had peace of mind. So it's like 2009. So, listen, I don't want to hear about comedy no more. I'm 54 years old. I don't want to hear about comedy.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear about brand. It was funny because Bert calls me one day and he goes, "Do you have a spot tonight?" I go, "Yeah." And I come over, I pick Bert up, and we drive down to the store. On the way down to the store, Bert's telling me how, I can't even talk about comedy no more. It's too much. Everybody I'm surrounded with talks to me about comedy. I park the car. We get out of the comedy store. We both go to the main room. We're not sitting there 2 minutes. Some fucking clown comes in, and all of a sudden, you're in a full-blown comedy conversation. I'm like, Bert, this is what the fuck we said. Listen, man.
I also said to you, man, I'm not partying tonight. I'm going home.
Right,
I'm
right.
getting in the car. We're doing our spots. We're going to, and your spot was before me. You're like, if you're going home, I'll wait for you, and we'll leave.
And Bert learned something the last 2 times. It took a lot of people lessons to learn. And that's why I look at you one time. And you know what this means?
Wrap it up.
Wrap it up. And you got a minute. You got a minute. In that minute, you better be able to say goodbye and your hugs because I'm walking straight to that car and I ain't stopping.
And then
Okay, listen to this. That kid that I met in San Francisco last week was sitting the first night eating dinner. And I go, "How's your mom doing?" And she goes, "My mommy's doing fine. In fact, she told me to tell you she never forgot the time when you were kids and you left her at Judas Priest." I've been leaving people at places for years. When I tell you it's time to go, there ain't no goodbyes. There's a reason why I'm telling you.
And by the way, it was what is arguably a fascinating conversation. It's me, Brennan Schaub, and Rogan, and you just went, "No, we're going home." I was like, Joe, you don't want to hang out for a second? You go, and you started tapping your watch. You're like, let's go.
Tick, tick, tick. Papa's going. You got about 3 seconds to get these goodbyes out and hugs.
You and Segura are so fucking similar. Like, he hates small talk. It's one of the things he hates going to the store because he's like, I just don't want to fucking talk to a million people. Like, he'll talk to the people he cares about, but he's not there to, like, I do love the, like, walking around room to room, like going back to the back bar, having a drink.
First of all, let me be honest with you. If I go down there and there's 10 people, I like 4 of them.
Yeah.
So that's number one. Let's be as honest as we can.
Yeah.
I'm 54, and I've learned over the years that if I don't like you, there's no reason why I should be around you.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's just end the bullshit. This is L.A., where people have to be around you and talk to you. I'm not one of those people. I don't need to talk to you.
Yeah, I think the other thing about you is, like, you're someone that you make sure that you talk to your friends every other day, if not every day. So there's nothing we're going to catch up with at the store that we haven't already talked about.
I feel old at the store. I
feel
feel
old
creepy at the store.
You're the fucking median age at the store of people working is probably you Rogan. Rogan's turning 50 this year, right?
I don't know. Bill Burr's up there.
Turning 50. I heard Bert say he was 50. And they're like, what? And he's like, 49, turning 50.
Sebastian's young, still 40.
How old is Sebastian? Yeah, he's probably...
when I got to the store, there were older guys. And they were annoying as shit. And I always used to say, when I get to that age, I'm never going to be down here annoying these little young guys, In fact, when I go down there, I try to treat those guys with the utmost respect because I knew how those older guys treated me when I was at the store. And I always said, I don't want these scumbags treating. I'm never treat young guys like that.
It's a weird time at the store right now because I really like, Ron White, Judd
Apatow,
Rogan, Burr. The average age, Russell Peters, myself, I think the average age is probably 47.
Yeah.
And then you look at these young kids like Tony, who's like, I don't know what Tony is, probably 28.
Yeah.
And you just go like, how much you have another 30 years here? Like, it really is kind of crazy.
And I don't know what it is, Bert. I don't know if it's the age or having the child.
It's having the child.
Because once I had Mercy, it seemed like I put blinders on. Like the shit that used to bother me doesn't affect me no more at any level. Let me get a cup of club soda. You got an extra cup?
Yeah, of course. Grab that cup right there.
Put some ice cubes in there for Uncle Joey. Got like a little.
It's having kids. It's one of the things that like I admire a great deal in Rogan is how he can compartmentalize his life and go. I do this time with the kids. I do this time at the gym. I do this time at the podcast. I do this time shooting archery. I do this time doing that. Because for me, I get really selfish, and at the end of the night, I want to have dinner, and I want to go watch a movie with the girls in the living room, and I want to go to bed.
Okay, you just said it. I've learned a lot from Joe Rogan, but I'll never forget. Way before I had kids, because he had kids before all of us except you.
Yeah,
I said to him, Joe, we got to go back on Sundays. And sometimes he would listen to me, and I explained to him why from my part. I go, I want to have Sunday. At the time, think about what I did for 5 years to Terry.
Yeah.
6 years with the blow and putting us in debt. So there came a time when I go, that's it. The bullshit with Terry stops. I have to prioritize Terry. If not, I'm going to lose Terry.
And you had already done the longest yard, right?
I'd already done the longest yard, and I go, I'm going to lose Terry. I'm going to fucking lose Terry. So I stopped doing the coke. 2 years later, I got married, 2009. And I swore I was never going to get married. I was never going to get married again. It was a mistake. It doesn't really mean nothing. It means a ton to a woman.
Yeah.
It means a ton to them. I made a commitment to her, blah, blah, blah. And it was so weird. Just to her, I wanted to have dinner with her on Sunday. No club was worth it to me. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck. And then I got a call from the Funny Bones. Some lady called me. No, I'm lying to you. I bumped into Billy Gardell a year before he got the show.
Michael Molly.
And he was confused. He goes, I don't know what I'm going to do.
Yeah, I remember that time.
I just canceled a bunch of work. They're trying to not give me good money. And I talked to him, and I go, I'm not going to let what happened to Billy Gardell happen to me. They called me, and I said, I'm done with comedy. Listen, as far as I'm concerned, I could care less about the traveling.
Yeah, the traveling is what sucks dick. And for the record, everyone goes, what's not good money? Well, not good money is $900 a weekend, $1,200 a weekend, $1,500 a weekend.
Terrible.
For a comic, because you got to remember, we're paying
a plane ticket.
And
food.
And they'll put us up in a condo. We got to pay for our food. And
transportation.
Sometimes you got to pay your agent, your manager, your taxes. You're really walking away with
nothing.
For all that work.
Nothing.
Not much.
So I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'll quit comedy. I'll do it at the clubs. And whenever my friends call me to audition or do a movie, I'll do a movie. I keep my insurance. What do I give a fuck?
Yeah.
And I got a day job telemarketing, man.
Because you were booking movies legit on the
before the strike.
Yeah.
Before 2007, I did everything. Once a month, I was shooting something. 3 days, 4 days. 2007 came. That eliminated everything. It was either that or the age gap I fell into. Something happened where everything stopped, Just all those roles stopped. I also wasn't as aggressive as I was. For a long time, I was really aggressive. I got breakdowns. I sent audition tapes on my own. I was like, fuck them.
Yeah.
They would call me and break my balls, like, come and audition for a co-star. Bitch, I just did this. Why would I go backwards? If I'm going to go backwards, just offer it to me. I'm not going to go all the way down there at 5 o'clock to fucking read. Go fuck yourself. So that was the end of that.
Oh, I got lazy. After I did my first pilot, scripted pilot for CBS. And then I went in on a bunch of stuff, and I was like, I wasn't enjoying the auditioning process. And then I went in for a hosted thing, and I walked in, and it was just an offer. They're like, we'd love to have you do this if you're interested. And I was like, yeah, I'll do it. It's a pilot. Paid $15,000. And I was like, yeah. Oh, get me more of these. And then I ended up doing that for so long that I just was like, why would I ever? And then right before I got Bert the Conqueror, I got offered to test for a CBS sitcom. And the quote was, I want to say it was $10,000 an episode. And I was like, $10,000 an episode? I can make that on non-scripted. And not And they're like, yeah, but it's more prestigious. And I was like, no, my quote would need to be like $30,000 an episode if I'm going to do something like that. And they're like, nah, that's not what it is. I ended up testing for it and not getting it. But I was blown away at like how low. Now, like someone was telling me they got a scripted series and they're getting $7,000 an episode. And I was like, are you out of your fucking mind?
It's not what it used to be, G.
It's not. It used to be. I remember Kevin James was making, I think he was making $750,000 an episode. Okay,
towards the end. Yeah.
But I remember
fucking Charlie Hunnam. His last year at Sons of Anarchy, $450 an episode. He made $7 million his last season at Sons of Anarchy.
I mean, those hit shows. And so for people not knowing that, I'll explain real quick. So you negotiate a contract for 100 episodes. Your first initial offer is for 100 episodes, 4 seasons ultimately. And then, because after that, it goes into syndication. If you can last 4 seasons, then everyone makes tons of money, and that's when you can renegotiate. And that's where you hear the big Friends deals of like $1 million, $2 million an episode, because they know what the syndication rights are going to be, and everyone just made $1 billion. But those initial, you negotiate for your per episode for those first 4 years. You can't change it. You can't up it. That's what you get. And it used to be like $35,000 an episode when I started. That was what the going rate was. And now you're just like, fuck, you can't get that.
You know, actors are suffering a lot. You know, with all this, there's a lot of viewership, but that means it's the other way around.
And
they don't really need
all those syndication money.
All those syndication.
Gone, 'cause they don't even syndicate it. They sell it to Netflix. They sell it to Amazon. And then people can watch. No one's syndicating shit. It really is. I think actors have gotten fucked the most. I look at like.
It sucks to do. Listen, I get calls once a month with an offer.
Yeah.
From something out of the blue. And it's always the week I got to leave town. So the money, they're way apart.
Yeah.
And every once in a while you go, you know what? I want to keep these motherfuckers on their toes. I'll cancel it. Tell them I got a movie just to let these motherfuckers know I still run shit.
Yeah.
But nothing is worth canceling.
Yeah.
Nothing is really worth canceling. You know, thank God. Like when I got Maz's show on CBS this year, they called me for a different role. I was on as I was opening up the Uber to get in the Uber, I could feel my phone ring, and I knew exactly who it was. I didn't even go for it. I go, that's the agent telling me I booked the role.
Really?
I closed the door. I looked at it. Yes, it was. They really, really want you. What do you think? I go, I'm in the car headed to, it's Wednesday at 8:30. I go, I knew this was going to happen. Maz is my friend. The other guy's my friend. Jermaine. The guys know me. If I do 3/4 of a good job, they're going to give me the fucking show.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what happened. We went back and forth. They said, you know what? Go. Well, they're going to use you. I said, fuck. I'm never going to get a call back from them. They called 3 weeks later. So I really, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
It's just, it's not for me. The acting isn't what it used to be. Like,
really?
Like I was in love with it. Because I knew when I got here that was the only way I would get in through the back door. I knew I would never make it as a comic with my material and stuff.
Really?
Yeah. So I knew.
What's so crazy is you, I think you kind of set the prototype for what most comics are doing now. 100%. You don't see that? You went on Rogan in like, I say 6 years ago, 7 years ago. How long has Rogan podcast been going?
Maybe 6 years.
6 years ago. And would just go on and talk for like, just talk. The way we are right now. But like, I think it was at the very beginning of you going, these are stories I don't tell on stage, or I couldn't tell on stage.
Right.
But these are things that just happened to me. And they come up at like the drop of a hat. Like, and I think it changed the way people podcasted. It changed the way people did stand-up. I think it changed the way people looked at wanting to watch stand-up, and they wanted to hear these real stories. I remember when I told the Machine story, I remember someone tweeted, "Oh shit, I got Joey Diaz and Bert Kreischer now are my 2 favorite people to listen to a podcast." And I had been listening to you on Rogan's podcast while doing the Travel Channel stuff. I would put it in and lay in bed next to my iPad with my iPad charging, and I'd listen to you and Rogan podcast. And your stories were just fucking fat. It's amazing in the way you tell a story. I know you don't put any effort into it, or you don't like overthink it, but your details allow the listener to go there in his head. You know, I always say I'm obsessed with small details. I'm obsessed with small details because I feel like it really draws the picture for the listener. I think that if you add a small detail, they see that small detail, and that one small detail takes their focus off the broad stroke and allows the broad stroke to become a little more accessible. But like, yeah, your storytelling is fucking. I mean, it's almost the prototype. I feel like I've seen. I feel like I've had people come on my podcast going. In my head, I go, "Oh, you're a big Joey fan. Like you like what Joey does. Like you, I see what you're doing. Like I'm not seeing what you're doing, but like I go, you want to have lived a rich life and want to talk about it. But does that make sense?
Yeah, kind of.
And so to hear that, I go, I do understand because I think we both got into the business when, in order to make it, you had to be an actor. You had to be an actor and be famous, get on Last Comic Standing, and then do the road. You know, that's how you get into theaters. But now it's changed so much that it's like, do a podcast, do stand-up, and that's all you have to do. I mean, that's all I do right now.
That's all I want to do.
That's all I've turned down. Like, I'd say turned down, but like I've had projects brought to me where I just go, no. Not interested. I'm not interested because it just isn't like I don't want to be that guy. I want to be me. I'll do my podcast. I've total control of my podcast. I'm grateful for my advertisers. I wish I'd listened to you 2 years ago when you were like, get out of TV, just do the podcast. Just do the podcast.
You miss TV?
No. I'll tell you what I miss. The one thing I miss is my crew. I miss traveling with 11 people or traveling with 5 people and going from city to city and fucking around and giggling and having dinners at night. I miss that. I do not miss having, very... I had a very epiphanous moment in my career. A Travel Channel, I hope this doesn't offend anybody, but a Travel Channel, every 3 years, 2 years, whatever the deal was, you didn't know if your deal was going to get renewed. And so you'd have conversations with people that worked at the network that were above you, and it was almost very, not condescending, but it was very, not demeaning, but just they decided if you got more work. And so you were in a very, like, cuck position of, like, am I going to get a job? You get in trouble, and they'd tell you things, like they'd really talk down to you. And then Scripps fired everyone at Travel Channel, and I was still at Travel Channel, and these same people called me, like, and were like, hey man, well, like, what do I do? Like, it was a very, like, flip-flop position, like, Freaky Friday moment, and I went, oh fuck, so all these people that have always been above me never were above me. They were always trying to hold on to a job. They want, like, they never really had, like, some creative stance on top. They had nothing on top of me.
They had no balls. They had nothing.
They had nothing.
They were just taking orders, and every day they'd wake up and fucking hope that they wouldn't. That's all those people are. And there's no intelligence. There's nothing. There's no common sense.
Yeah.
There's nothing. They answer to somebody, and because they have a job, they act like fucking they're special. And they've thought of things they've never thought of dick.
It really fucked me up because I was like, it really got me distasteful towards television because I was like, wait, I started believing no one knows what the fuck's going on.
They really don't.
And then we did Bert the Conqueror, the 3rd season. While I think after everyone got fired, we did it with no boss. So I got to make my own product. In essence, I would definitely say Dan Adler and Bonnie, and like those two. Dan Adler probably mostly. It was his vision. He's just he's a really great executive producer, but it was in the field. It was me making what I wanted to make. I wanted to make the thing I made. I gave it to them. They shaped it, and it went on air. And the network buried it because they were ready to get rid of me. They were ready to get rid of the brand. They were ready to bring in a bunch of new, more successful brands that were really going to take the network in a new direction. And I remember struggling and fighting for the show and saying, we have some really viral clips. Like, if you could just please, like, I would reach out. And I had emails that I would send to the president, crypted, like, and send them in. And other people attached to the emails would be like, hey, Bert, that was a really great way to handle it. Because they were trying to bury the show. Hey, please, I think if we air this clip, it'll really help promote the series. But ultimately, they didn't want to promote the series. And they didn't want to listen to me because I didn't know a fucking thing. They had someone that worked in the digital space. They had someone that knew more about that than I did. By the way, no one at that fucking network knows more about the digital space in that entire company of Scripps, with all respect, Scripps, than Bert Kreischer. I've been doing digital space my entire career before anyone knew what the fuck it was. I've increased my, I've had many videos go viral. That's the most frustrating thing is I'm a comic. I've been doing this since Dane started it. I'm friends with Dane. I know what will go viral. Post this one clip. No one listened to me. Then they posted the clip, and it got 130 million views in like a week. And it was after the show was canceled. And I was like, I just wish someone had listened to me. And that's when I realized no one listens, no one cares. Everyone's got a mortgage. They're not being dicks. They don't dislike you, but they're just like, oh man, my boss is telling me something. They answer to somebody too. And I was like, you know what? I'm done answering to anybody. I'm going to do my shit. And man, in that time, Joey, I've increased my Facebook following by 700,000 people. I've increased my Instagram following by 110,000 people. I have not sold out a show in 2017. I'm making more money than I'd ever make at Travel Channel, and part of me goes, why the fuck did I mean, I loved it. I loved the experience, but part of me is like, why didn't I listen to myself earlier and go, Bert, you're really talented, fuck everyone. I wish I had that kind of, feeling. I was like, fuck everyone, you're really talented, man. You should stick with what you're really good at, as opposed to going like, Travel Channel will be the answer, It'll solve my problems. It'll get. By the way, let me say this. I will have to say this to the day I die. I respect everyone at Scripps. I'm so grateful for this man cave for my house. They paid for all the stuff I could have never gotten. Never gotten my house at that time. Never gotten my man cave. All that. I'm so grateful. I had so much fun on those fucking trips. Best thing in the world. But ultimately at the end, I go, I just want to make my own product. I want to make my own product. I don't want notes from anybody. I don't want anyone to tell me what to fuck do. I just want to do my own thing.
And after you've made your own product, it's pretty tough to go back to do
really
something
hard
for somebody else.
That guy I just talked about, Dan Adler, is listening to this podcast right now, fascinated. And you know what? And I love Dan, but Dan could never tell me how to do this. He could never be like, Bert, this is how you do your podcast. He could never tell me how to do stand-up. He can definitely make great television, but I think I'm past that. I think right now I'm just on a path where I go, I just want to keep working on really good jokes and just posting them online and do another special. I don't know how that's going to work anymore. Specials, you either do a Netflix or you don't do one, I guess. But and just hanging out at the store and doing my podcast. I mean, it's so cool when you do a podcast, you do something different, and all of a sudden, your numbers double, and you're like, wait, what did I do? I always tell everyone, I check Google Trends. That's a big thing for me is Google Trends, and and I always feel like I look at my career now compared to where it was. It's so much better, with the people that care about stuff, the people that want to see comedy, want to see entertainment. I think my next goal, honestly, is to do what I was doing at Travel on my own dime and put it out for fans to see. I was going to do that in Australia. When I do that Australian tour, it's going to I do like swimming with great white sharks. I love that. I think it's really a cool thing. Why don't I go just shoot it myself and then edit it and put it up? Hey guys, this is a cool video. That viral video, I could reshoot that. The one that went viral for Travel Channel is the biggest video they've ever had. I could shoot that. I could shoot something like that very easily. So, that's where I start going in my head, what do I want to do? I don't want to be a movie star, and not to say that and put that in the universe and jinx myself, but I don't think I enjoy movie work. I really like that interactiveness of, single camera stuff with a crew. I enjoy that. I think it's because I'm a comic, that Rodney Dangerfield shit of, breaking up people, making people laugh. I love stand-up. I'm so grateful I never quit this fucking this podcast. I wish I tell you what I'd really like to do. I'd like to take my podcast to the next level the way you and Lee have it. I love your podcast. I love that you really kind of step up your game and put money behind your product, and you're booked. You have great bookings and you have great video. I watch your videos, and I'd love to do that.
It's funny. You come to this town and you put your career and your soul in other people's hands. And I say your soul because for the first 3 or 4 years here, you could lose your soul. I saw it happen to 1,000 comics, okay?
100%.
They lose their soul. They got here, they were fucking hilarious, and their agent told them if they want to sell a show, they have to talk about family life and what their house is about, and these guys buy it, and in the meantime, they get a deal. The show don't get picked up. Their numbers are shit, and guess what? Bye-bye, because 3 Arts don't wait for you. Neither does CAA, neither does William Morris. They're not in the business of making stars. They want the stars already made, you know? And then you go through a 6-year period where you think you got it. You're starting to make little moves. You're starting to book films. You've created a niche for yourself.
Yeah.
You know, with me, it wasn't stand-up. I just had the store. But nobody was talking to me for stand-up. Nobody was inviting me to Montreal. I wasn't getting no showcases. Comedy Central said I was too old. You know, it was endless. And 2009, I was doing comedy, let's be honest. I was doing comedy maybe 20-something years. I did Gabriel Iglesias' show.
Yeah.
And that's when, right before then is when I started putting it together. I moved to the Valley, and I would just hide at the Ha-Ha every night. And I made them a deal. I go, do not pay me. Just call me at night and tell me when you're 2 comics away from closing, and let me close up the show.
Yeah.
And I just kept going down there, doing 20 minutes.
I love that room.
Dying. This is the old Ha-Ha.
I remember the old Ha-Ha.
They had gang members
That
in
was
there.
that was a weird place to do stand-up.
I'll never forget when I shot the Gabriel thing, he gave me a camera. This is a true story. When, as a present for shooting the Comedy Central thing, Gabriel gave me a camera, a little Sony Blogger, and I was like, "This is great, but it's going to run into the same shit. I don't know how to edit."
Yeah.
And I think 2 days later, I got a fucking Facebook from Lee Syatt going, "My name is Lee. I'm an editor. I'm looking for a little bit of work." I met with him, and I go, let me pay you $100 a week. Let's do a series of videos, 9 weeks. I'll pay you $900, and we'll start there, you know. And it was when I started going for my ideas. You know, it was really weird. After 2007, all I would get calls for were for YouTube movies or stupid web series. Nothing paid. And one day I was close to doing this deal for this Italian show. They were morticians, but people in the neighborhood thought they were gangsters. And I go, what the fuck am I doing with my life? For like $300 an episode. I go, fuck this. I go, from now on, I'm not doing nothing until I get scale. For years, people called me with $100 a day movies.
Yeah.
Nope. And all of a sudden, one day, I get the fucking De Niro Stallone movie. They offer it to me out of the blue because I knew a director. And I always accredit. I go, you learn by saying no. You have to make your own decisions. You have to make your own decisions in this career. I love Justin. I love my agent. I take his opinion, 50% of his opinion, 60% of his opinion, and I appreciate it, but I'm the one that has to do that work, not him. You know, they paint you a pretty picture. Third week in November, hottest week in Miami. Not really. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Let me tell you what's going on. I was just there 8 months ago. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not going back for another year. Don't ask me about Miami again for another year. And I tell them.
Yeah.
Because I'm running this fucking show, not you guys.
But that was when because I wasn't in that position. I wasn't in that position, Joey. I swear to God.
I'm still not in that position.
No,
but I still take it.
No, but you still,
I take it. I've never been in that position. When I signed with him, the first thing I said to him was, I don't work Sundays. And he giggled, and he would call me and go, hey, man, they want you to work Sunday. And I go, cancel the week.
Yeah.
Are you serious? Yeah. Cancel the week. And then he would tell me, they want you to fly on Wednesday. Cancel the week. Cancel the week. I'll be there at 1 o'clock. I'm on at 5 a.m. Yeah, but you can't do radio. You saw the numbers. We'll do radio on Friday. I'll do a Periscope, tweet it, and Friday, by the time I do radio, that closes the deal. Why do you want me in there Wednesday night? I can't do that fourth night. I won't do it. I won't do it. That sleeping there that night kills me. By Saturday, I want to shoot myself. So no, I want to be fresh at these gigs. I don't work. He couldn't believe it. He even called Ari. He goes, "What, is this kid crazy?" He goes, "Joey, don't play."
Cut to Ari decides not to work 2017.
Yeah, and then Ari cracked him, and they couldn't comprehend that. We're not like regular comics no more.
Yeah.
We're not doing that. I sat here for years. I saw Richard Jeni shoot himself. I saw Richard Jeni wake up one day at 51 and say, "I don't want to do this no more." But I got no acting career either. I got no acting resume. You saw it happen to 20 comics in this town right now.
Yeah.
That were huge 15 years ago. They abused their road. They never took care of what they had to take care of. They never took care of here. Why live here if you're not going to do TV and movies? I wouldn't take this shit.
Yeah.
I wouldn't live in California. I'd move back to Atlanta or Georgia or North Carolina, live with normal people.
I'd live in Nashville.
Yeah, Nashville. Not tolerate this stupidity, this liberalism out here. I wouldn't put up with this shit. If you live here, it's because you're gonna go to do shit.
That's the thing that blew me away was that I was sitting in Philly one weekend and I saw my first vlog. Remember I was doing vlogs? Yeah. I saw a vlog and I went, "Oh my God, that's amazing. I wish I could do that." And then I was like, I bet I have all the equipment. I bet I could do that. And I started playing with that. I think that was the seed that was planted for me to get away from television.
Yes, that's it.
Doing that vlog, because I started enjoying it, like really enjoying it. And then I remember like sending it to that guy Dan Adler and going, "Hey, will you give me notes? Like, give me notes. I want to learn." And like as soon as that happened for me, I started seeing the business very differently. I also started seeing that there were a lot of people with their fingers in their pie that didn't have a talent. And I was like, and as soon as I saw that, I started getting angry about it. I was like, wait, like, and then I remember going into radio one time, and this is right around that, after that, and going, I know how much I'm making off my podcast. And then I was like, how many people are getting paid here that don't really have a purpose here? It's a lot of wasteful money. Like when I get paid for my podcast, it goes to me. Like I get it. I get all of it. And I think that idea of like going like, oh, I just want the product to go to the people that I want it to go to, and that's it. I want to come up with my idea.
That's it.
Give it to them, and that's it.
That's it. And nobody can figure this business out right now. There's no agent. All the agents, all these media outlets are trying to jump on it, and they're all going to take a bath because they do not know what they're doing. See, we started here. This, for me, was hands-on since day one.
Yeah.
I've learned all the trends and everything on my own, which they don't know.
No.
They don't have the secrets. Somebody asked me who I had on the podcast last night. I said, it's not a big name. And they go, why not? And I go, because it's July 2nd. Who's really going to listen to it? Why would I put fucking Steve Colbert on this week? This is a dead week. But we still had downloads today. We had a great day today. But it's still like, this is saving for the middle of the month when you need the numbers. There's little things that these people have no idea.
Yeah.
I heard of a new company that gives you a budget for a podcast for a year. And they're like, what's the money? You know, they don't know. And I'm just sitting back.
I heard someone say, I won't say the person's name, but he's like, hey, when I sign my deal for my podcast, I want to come on and promote it. And I was like, sign your deal? What do you mean? He's like, well, I'm signing a deal, like a 6-figure deal with a company to do a podcast. I was like, that's not how it works.
That's how it works now.
I go, you got to have a good podcast.
That's how they're doing it now.
Dude, everyone listening to this has been listening since day one. All know my first 4 years or 3 years of this podcast sucked.
We're a disaster.
Sucked. I remember was horrible. And then one day I got interested in it. I remember, I can tell you where it changed for me. And there was obviously podcasts better than that moment. But I did a podcast with Bobby Kelly. And I'm genuinely interested in Bobby. I genuinely love Bobby. And I was excited to talk to him. And halfway through, I went, oh, I bet this is a good podcast. I bet they're going to really like this one. And in my head, I was like, because I'm really enjoying this conversation. And then I was like, oh, I can't have people on this podcast that I'm not interested in. I can't have someone that I don't want to talk to.
That's what they don't understand. People always say, hey, put this guy on. I don't know this fucking guy. Number one, I don't know who this guy is. Number two.
Yeah.
And number three, guess what? I don't want to have nobody on that I don't have like a little rapport with. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Even if they have a book that they wrote, You might not like them, but the book was interesting, and you want to know how they got the facts for it, or something like that.
I've seen people on your podcast where I go, shit, man. Like, I know for a fact if someone's on your podcast that I don't know, that's the one I listen to. Same thing with Rogan. So interesting. I found myself with his podcast going, if I don't know the person, that's the one I want to listen to. Cameron Haynes, man.
Yeah, he's great.
When I'm being dead
Jocko's
serious.
great. Cameron Haynes.
Dude, Jocko, I take a picture of my watch when I start working out just to, like, I don't post it, but just because I feel like, there we go, I've earned it. Like, or I right when I'm done working out. Cameron Haynes is someone on paper, no agent would be like, hey, man, you know who would be great on a podcast? A ultra marathoner, bow running accountant out of Oregon.
Eugene, Oregon.
Yeah. They'd be like, huh? But man, that motherfucker he's changed me in ways personally that he'll never know. I say his phrases when I get on the treadmill. I say his phrases in my head. When I watch his videos and I go, you know what? This past week I had a rough week, partied really hard, it blended into 3 days. I'm not feeling good. I'm in Omaha. I do the Call in Sick to Work show, but you drink for it, so it's okay. But I go to Chris Porter's show that night. By the way, shout out to Chris Porter. He fucking destroyed this weekend. Chris Porter's new hour is funnier than his last hour, and his last hour is fucking bananas.
Chris Porter's a savage.
Dude, Chris Porter is a savage. A legit savage.
Where's his new hour at?
He's just working on it right now. But motherfucker, he tells 2 stories where I watched it in the back. And I'll say, me and you, I'll say this about us. We're top 10 storytellers in this business. I'd say top 5, but we're in the top 10 good storytellers. Chris Porter blew me the fuck out of the water, and I literally sat back there going, whoa, man, he's working. He's like doing the work. He's fucking trying new shit on stage every night. He's sitting down with
Where was he, Omaha?
In Omaha. He was in Omaha the weekend. We partied all weekend. Sat in his hotel room and smoked weed.
Omaha?
I was doing the Call in Sick to Work show. One show on a Friday morning, and then I flew out to do Calusa Casino. Not Calusa, Cherokee Casino Saturday.
Where's Cherokee at?
You did it. You did it a couple years ago, maybe.
Where is it?
Oklahoma.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah. But anyway, I'm not feeling good. I end up not drinking Friday night, and I wake up Saturday. I have a later flight, and get on my Instagram, and I see Cameron Haynes, and he's doing his fast run, whatever his fast run is. I thought it meant like he doesn't eat and then runs. I think he might have just meant I run really quickly and then come home. And I went, oh, motherfucker, if he can do this, I can do this. And then I hear his phrases in my head, keep hammering. No one cares, work harder. And then I go, fucking Bert, just get up and run for 30 minutes. Just run for 30 fucking minutes.
Run?
Yeah. Where? I went on the treadmill in Omaha, ran for 30 minutes, came down. I felt so much fucking better. And I was like, shit, I got up today on the treadmill. I did not feel like working out. I got up today on the treadmill. Isla's sitting on the couch. Joey Diaz is calling, Dad. Joey Diaz is calling. I go, I'll call him back. I got to work out. But like someone like that, and that's what people don't get, is someone like Cameron Haynes on because Joe's interested in him, and Joe finds that interesting. He shares it with his interest begets interest. No executive producer could produce that moment. Joe's got to find the interest and then share it with his fans, and then we become interested. You did that podcast with that black dude the other day. I forget his name. And I was like, immediately
play.
No, the other black dude. It was like maybe it was more than a month. It might have been a month ago.
Oh, Danny Brown.
Yep, Danny Brown.
Danny Brown. Yeah, he's great. I love
and I'm
Danny.
like, you realize that like
Danny Brown's a good man.
There's not a lot of people that would.
He bought 5,000 stars.
Dude.
5,200 milligram stars.
Dude,
5,000 stars.
That's the difference that's going on in this business. Danish and O'Neill, man, when I have them on the podcast, fucking huge numbers. Everyone loves it, and they love those guys. And the reason is they're real, they're unjaded, they don't come in here with an agenda. And let me tell you something, man. They are
Funny as fuck.
Funny as fuck.
Funny as fuck.
End of the night comics at the store. Any agent's gone by the time they go on stage, and every agent's like, "Who's Danish and O'Neill?" They're fucking amazing.
They're
That's
fucking
who the
amazing.
fuck they are.
Great
You know?
writers, man.
You bring in a star like if I had John Hamm on here. No, by the way, shout out to John Hamm if you want to come on the podcast. I'd love to have you. But like I flew myself to New York to do Diaz and Miro because I think they're fucking good. Their numbers on Facebook or on Instagram aren't that high. You know, they're on Viceland that doesn't get that many numbers. None of my agents knew who they were. None of my managers. I had to introduce them to my managers. But the fucking interview. I had people recognizing me in the airport because people get it, they get it, and they respect people that get it. And I was like, "Fuck yeah!" And it's like it was fucking amazing. You'd be great on Jesus and Miro. But I hit him up about you and Tommy. But I don't know. I think they're. I don't know. I think white comics are. I think they're probably better with like black comics.
They do a podcast also.
They do, yeah.
The Viceland show is tremendous.
The Bodega
Yeah,
Boys.
yeah.
They're fucking amazing. I want to get them on the podcast when they come out.
Yeah,
they're
great.
amazing. They're hilarious. They're comedian level funny. But yeah, I just think podcasting is such a weird. You've got to be in it to get it, to really figure it out. You know, whoever would have seen Fighter and the Kid being one of the biggest podcasts in the country? No one would ever have thought. Let's pair. They would have done it before. Let's pair an MMA artist with a comic who's one of the bigger actors in comedy.
It really is crazy what it's become. I'm just sitting here waiting for the fucking caves to fall in.
Yeah.
Yeah, like when does this end? It grows every month. Every month we get more involved, you know.
I talked to Joe about it, and Joe goes, "I'm afraid the numbers are fudging. Like it's growing so quickly." Like I just did a podcast with John Reap last week. I did it before then. I posted it last week. Highest rated podcast I've ever had in my entire podcast. Ever. Highest rated. Most downloads ever. And it's all it is me and John Reap got drunk as fuck and talk shit for 4 hours. Talk shit. Like, and people were like, I could have listened to another 4 hours. Dude, if a producer would never say, "Hey, Bert, here's the show I want to pitch. You, on Easter morning, I want you and Joey Diaz and your dad and Tom Segura to eat marijuana, okay? And then have one of the most famous Vietnam refugees come in." Like, no one would ever say that. But that podcast is fucking bananas.
It's just, I can't believe what's going on. I'm just here taking a ride, you know. When I show up at these clubs on the weekends to do stand-up, I'm blown the fuck away. If you know anything about me, I'm very grateful, you know. I'm very grateful. I wish I could write more, faster, which is a pain in the ass.
You mean like books or material?
Material.
Oh, Joey. Can I tell you the problem? The problem with you is that you don't realize the funniest shit you say sometimes. The thing I've always said about you that blows me away is you say things that in passing, that you're just so naturally funny. You say things in passing that would be in my act tomorrow. My favorite one of my favorite things you've ever said, I don't know if you've ever used it in a special, was you were talking about getting attacked by dogs when you first got to this country. Yeah. And you were like, "Dog, one time I walked past a dog, he saw me, turned around and was like, fuck it, and came back and bit me.
Came back and bit me on 148th Street when I was a kid. Because I used to say hello to that dog every fucking day.
Yeah.
And the owner was a fucking scumbag. But I was so persistent that he started liking me. And he would stop the dogs, and I would go, "Hey, guys."
Remember the story you told about snorting coke with Lawrence Taylor?
Yeah.
And you're like, "This is a big motherfucker. He's snorting coke off top of the refrigerator."
That was Daryl Dawkins.
Daryl Dawkins, yeah.
Fucking God rest his soul.
Yeah.
Snorting Coco. You know, I've been going, it's funny, this morning I woke up. We ate 500 milligrams of Moon bars last night.
Who, you and Lee?
Me and Lee, and then 2,000 milligrams of Stars.
Holy shit.
We weren't high in the office. When the podcast ended, we were ripped. Yeah. And then I had to drive home, and I went home, and I was so high. I had a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. I had a whole container of salsa with diet tortilla chips. It was fucking disgusting. There was tortilla chips all over the floor. Oh. I had the raisins, the yogurt-covered raisins that belonged to my daughter. and I blacked out in the THC.
For real?
I woke up this morning at 8. My head was off the pillow. 3 pillows were on the floor.
Oh.
I was like, oh, my God, I'm not going
Pass me that club soda, would you?
I'm not going to be able to do shit today. And I really didn't have a big day. And I go, you know what? I'm a little sore from jiu-jitsu yesterday, but I'm going to go back today.
Yeah.
And I said, fuck it. And I'm not going to go at 12. I'm going to go at 11. And I'm going to do a tack fit workout, do jiu-jitsu, and then do the tack fit workout afterward. Because I just wasn't feeling it this morning.
Yeah.
But I knew one thing, Bert. I went for breakfast at Marie E.T. You ever go to breakfast at Marie E.T.?
I've just had coffee there.
You should go try the fucking eggs and bacon there.
For real?
Holy shit. That place has become, like, it's fucking packed in there in the morning now for breakfast.
Yeah.
You see their waffles over there? I don't eat none of that shit. I don't eat waffles or pancakes. The waffles are fucking beautiful.
Oh, hold on 1 second. Remind me to talk to you about tomorrow for 4th of July. We're doing a parade starting at the school.
10 a.m.
Are you doing it?
10 o'clock?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'll see you there.
Okay, we're going to dress up. Is Mercy riding a bike?
I don't know. Whatever she wants.
Because we have a bunch of shit we're going to decorate the bikes in the morning. I'll call you in the morning.
So make her take the bike over here? Make her ride the bike to...
Yeah, what we'll do is...
And then it ends at Valley Village Park.
Yeah, Valley Village Park, yeah.
Tell them, what time does it end at?
I don't know, but it's fun. And my you know them, Steven. You know Steven.
Yeah.
He's the marshal of the parade. So they're up front. We'll get up front. It's fun as shit. We did it when we first moved to this neighborhood. It was the first... We bought the house, and, like, I must have been in right before... In June. And then Leanne, Leanne's so fucking uber involved, and she's like, "We're gonna go to this parade, dude. I have social anxiety, stuff like that makes me nervous as shit."
So do I.
And the first thing we did when we moved to this neighborhood is we went and did that parade, and I didn't know anybody, and my personality's big and loud, but like I get embarrassed.
Embarrassed, me too.
And so, but it was so cool, and we got done. And we didn't know anybody, and we felt like everyone knew each other. Dave Chappelle one time had a joke. He's like, "Remember first grade when you got there and you felt like everyone was already friends?" And that's how I felt. And I meant to call you today going, because we bought a bunch of decorations. We have tons of extra, because I thought, I was like...
Yeah, she's sure. I didn't know she was bringing the bike.
Yeah, we're all riding. I think everyone rides bikes. You can walk it. It's pretty slow. But it's everyone rides bikes. So if you got a bike or anything, we have a bunch of decorations. We'll jazz
I got no bikes. She's got a bike.
Yeah,
that's all that matters.
You can walk. So
we'll ride the bike over here and then ride back, and that'll put it down by 1:30. She'll be out fucking cold. Oh, that's what you got to put them on the bike from time to time.
I'm gonna call you. I'll call you when we wake up and we start getting ready to do that.
I'll shoot up because there's a pancake breakfast at 9.
Yeah,
at Presbyterian Church, sponsored
fucking
by
Georgia,
Marie T.
Georgia just said that.
Yeah,
we're driving to get donuts this morning. Georgia goes, "Hey, Dad, they got a pancake breakfast tomorrow that I'd love to hit up." And I was like, "Georgia, we're not." I said,
sponsored by Marie E.T.
I go, "Georgia, we're not going to a fucking pancake breakfast. I was going to be all homeless people." She goes, "No, Dad, they're like really good pancakes."
Yeah, they're good. But Marie E.T. It's catering it.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Maybe we'll go to the pancakes then tomorrow too.
I asked my wife tonight. She goes, "Well, let's see what time." Sometimes she wakes up at 8:30.
Yeah,
and she wants to watch cartoons and drink a chocolate milk, so we can't really rush it. It's on her schedule. So.
Yeah.
But she'll be ready by 10. She'll definitely be ready.
All right, I'll call you when I wake up.
9, she won't be ready for.
Because I would love. Georgia was talking about those damn pancakes.
Yeah, they got good pancakes. So my wife eats them. I'm telling you.
Are they doing it every Saturday?
I don't know. I go to Marie E.T. 3 times a week for breakfast.
Really?
3 eggs, 2 pieces of bacon, the best potatoes in Studio City. Nobody throws away the potatoes.
Really?
Do not get the hash browns. Get the potatoes. Onions, peppers, fucking delicious. And I don't eat potatoes for breakfast.
You're the one that introduced me to that place. You know that, right?
Oh, I love that place.
Because we lived here forever, and Leanne would go there, and I'd be like, "I'm not going there. I'm not going there." And
it's the best.
And then I started, when I was 39 years old, I started losing weight, and I was going to therapy, and I ran into you, and I told you I was going to therapy, and you were like, "Fuck that. We're just going to go have coffee every fucking morning, dog."
That's it, Marie.
And so we had coffee every morning.
Yeah,
over there.
That's my favorite place in the world. They got a dog over there now, Casper. I mean, they got a bunch of losers that hang out there, too, that have been writing the script since I moved to the Valley. They sit in the corner. They got all these connections. I don't pay no mind to them.
It was that time that I was with the girls. We pulled in. We saw you. And Ada goes, "Dad, it's Uncle Joey." and we got out. I think you were doing you were running and talking to a guy that was a boxer, professional boxer. Oh, fucking
Vincent Curto, maybe, yeah. No. Then the other time you came and we talked to that girl, the young girl, Rose, the 16-year-old.
Yeah,
she's still there. She still says hello to me. How are you, Joey? Jesus. And then there's a waitress from the store who has coffee there. I see her in the morning. Sometimes I take Mercy to school, drop her off, and shoot over there. And I sit there and write till 10:30. So I'm there. I get there like 20 after. And I'll just get a
next week. I'm going to be there a lot.
I'll get a thing of green tea, and I'll sit there until I drink 2 green teas. I write a little bit, and then I shoot over and go to jiu-jitsu at 11.
Next week I'm going hardcore, trying to just be healthy as shit.
What's wrong with this week?
As you know, it's fucking not St. Patty's Day, 4th of July. Yeah.
It's very weird what's going on right now. And it all started with that fucking album.
Yep.
When I was about 10, I used to hang out in Union City, New Jersey with these Puerto Ricans. And one of the kids had a brother. His name was Dune-buggy. And we went to his house and we were listening to... I'll never forget this, dog. We must have been 10, 11.
Okay, hang on. Stop right there. So
not the kid I ran with.
No. Just so you know, like what I see when you tell stories from my perspective, and I always say I'm better. And Brendan Schaub will raise his hand to the Lord and sing my praise till the day's end. I'm much better at hearing someone's stories and going that's what's the best part of the story. Dune-buggy is when you just said that, you realize I'd write that down on a piece of paper and try to work it into 9 different. Already I have a joke about getting fucked with Ralph Sampson, and I'm having a hard time writing it because it's a true story and I don't want to go too far from the truth because it needs to be grounded because Ralph Sampson might hear it and he might really get upset. But I'm having a hard time with writing for black people because I need black people to have certain experiences in this that they had. But as a white guy, I just was like, they were excited. But already there's a line... There's a line where I go, Dune-buggy would fit in that. Dune-buggy would get the biggest fucking laugh.
Dune-buggy had an afro.
He had a fucking afro.
He was like 5'6", and he had a brother named Galdo. And both of them were on heroin. Like, both of them were degenerate junkies. And the parents knew it, the whole thing. And you go over there, and the parents would tell the Galdo and Dune-buggy to go in the other room. Don't let the kids see you. You're both disgusting. Oh. So we're sitting there one day, me and this kid, and he goes, do you want to listen to the Beatles? And I go, yeah, put the Beatles on. I don't know. And he put the Beatles' White Album on. And we're having no reefer.
Yeah.
We're just drinking Cokes, listening to the Beatles, thinking we're cool. And all of a sudden the door opens up. And out comes Dune-buggy all fucked up. And he sits next to us. And he's like, what are you 2 young motherfuckers listening to? And we're like, the Beatles, man. And he's like, take that shit off. He goes, you guys know who Richard Pryor is? And we're like, no, we don't want to listen to Richard Pryor. We don't even know what he plays. What songs does he sing? Come on. And he goes, this motherfucker doesn't sing any songs. He's a comedian, man. You guys like comedy? And we're like, no, we want the Beatles. And he put on Dracula Meets Wino.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if it's on this album or The Nigga's Crazy, or is it something he said? And I lost my fucking mind. Like, I couldn't believe I was hearing what I was hearing. I left that house, and within an hour, I had that album. And I would go home and put the Beach Boys on. In those days, you'd put a bunch of albums on. They would drop as you wanted them. So I would have Pryor playing, but I'd have the Beach Boys over it. So if my mom came into the room, I could drop the Beach Boys real quick.
Oh, with that arm.
And she would hear,
it would drop it.
And she wouldn't hear, fucking nigga this and suck my motherfucking dick. So my mom would hear it. But that changed my life. Like, I don't know about George Carlin. At that time, when I heard Richard Pryor, it was Richard Pryor. My first 2 years of stand-up, listening, like as a fan, it was Richard Pryor. Then my friends like, you know who George Carlin is? I'm like, fuck George Carlin. And they're like, you have to hear George Carlin. That opened up another door. Then David Brenner, and then Freddie Prinze. So those were my first. But to me, it was always been Richard Pryor.
That's so funny.
Bicentennial Nigga, The Nigga's Crazy, and if it was something I said, those are 3 brilliant fucking albums in my world. Like
mine was Kinnison.
Kinnison, the first one.
Kinnison and Eddie Murphy.
Kinnison, the first one, is fucking amazing.
Really amazing.
Hotter Than Hell or something like that. Louder Than
there. It's hotter. I think it's Hotter Than Hell.
Hotter Than Hell. Yeah, that's a great album. That's live on the Sunset Strip. Bicentennial Nigger I had. I still remember listening to me and like 6 guys would go to my house and fucking smoke a joint and listen to. We had to be 13, 12.
I might upgrade all these pictures to comedy albums because I liked Andy Griffith. I thought he was an interesting comic to listen to because he'd tell those stories, but it was very jokey. I went to a football game and they had grape soda. Have you ever had grape soda? That was the way he did stand-up. Really interesting way. It's more like a Mike Birbiglia kind of approach. I think I always took at it like I always took a very Richard Pryor, Eddie Murphy approach to doing stand-up. Like I think Joe and Bill are both more of a Kinnison guy. Like find the point, argue the point, find the point, work it sideways kind of guy. That never worked with me because I think, and this is going to sound arrogant or whatever, but I think I was more personality driven. I think people look at me and they go, "Oh, this guy reminds me of that guy. I can't wait to see what I hope he drinks beer and likes to giggle."
Yeah.
Or, you know. So, and I think Pryor, or I think Eddie Murphy maybe even more, but we're more personality driven. You know, does that make sense?
Yeah.
But like the thing that you have that Pryor has is like, and I think this is what I don't know shit, but like when you say a name like Dune-buggy, that for me is a huge laugh in a story. I just pull his fucking name out and plug it anywhere and be like, like stuff like that for me. I go sometimes with you. I go, I don't know if you like Patrice was that way. Like I never thought Patrice realized why he was so brilliant. You know, like Patrice was a brilliant comic, just like you. Man. But like Patrice would tell me a story, and I'd be fucking sitting there, like not wanting the story to end. He told me a story one time about the cool kid in his neighborhood, Tony. We were talking about picking up chicks. He's like, man, like, and he was not running a bit on me. He was just talking the way you talk. He's like, man, the cool kid in our neighborhood was Tony. Man, he was just so cool. I'd watch him, and he'd just take a chick and, like, throw her in front of the fire hydrant. And then one day I'm like, fuck it, that's what you got to do is get a bitch wet. So I just put her in a headlock, and then, and he doesn't realize he's doing a bit. And maybe he did. I don't know. I mean, I really can't tell you as much as I can't say if you are, but, like, I knew him. He was just telling me a story about this one kid, Tony, and how cool he was. And I was like, sitting there fucking amazed going, I'd use all this in my act. I'd recreate this story. And it's so, you know, which is so frustrating about thieves is that, you know, they take what's good about you and then try to plug it into their own shit. And you're like, nah, man.
Well, the problem with these stories is that I lived them.
It is.
This isn't that I wrote this.
Okay, wait.
I lived these fucking things.
So talk to me about that because
you can't steal this.
No, but talk to me about how hard it is to take these stories in your life and take them on stage because I know for a fact I have an attachment to the truth and to the integrity of the story. I can't just fucking take it off on a tangent and make it into a fantastical story. And
I had these guys follow. Let me tell you what the real problem with Hollywood is. I had these guys follow me for 8 months.
Yeah.
CAA guys.
Yeah.
Not agents, writers.
Yeah.
Comedy shows, I mean, you name it. Tapings, film tapings, open mics and Reseda on Tuesday night. Anything I did, these guys showed up. We met 3 times a week. I told them every particular of my story. We didn't miss a beat. We sat there for 8 hours, broke it down into 3 sections. They disappeared for 8 weeks. They came back in December and they hit me with a pilot. It was so fucking bad. Because everything I gave them, they changed around.
Yeah.
They played Hollywood. Don't play Hollywood. The story is how it is.
Yeah.
The pilot was me taking a piss test. Why are we doing this? I had a friend that got a DUI They took him to the hospital, and while he was in the hospital getting stitches, he broke into the pharmacy and took a vial of liquid cocaine and jumped out the back window.
Yeah.
All right? Well, let's write around that we went in there, and he knows how to break in, and we steal the UA. There's something there. But these people wanted to rewrite characters. Like the guy's my best friend. He went to MIT, put himself through MIT. He's 52. He still lives at home. He just got a job 5 years ago.
Yeah.
One of my best friends in life. Smartest dude I ever hung out with, but just didn't have no ambition. Leave him alone. No, they came back. Let's make him 28. And he's like your slave. What are you talking about? This guy was like my main... When we was in college, we made money by selling blow together to his college friends at MIT. They took everything and they tried to rewrite it. There's nothing to rewrite here. I tell you a fucking story. While I'm telling it to you, there's little things, part of that story that's funny, that I didn't see as I wrote it out on paper. I'm driving... Look, the other day I was talking to somebody. And they were telling me about... I just went to San Francisco. And every time I fucking go to San Francisco, I get a fucking a light bulb. Because I don't know if you know this, I lived in San Francisco in 85 as a stone cold gangster.
Really?
Like I was a 24-hour gangster. The only day job I held was I bartended 3 nights a week at Haight-Ashbury at a bar called Rockin' Robin's. But every other movement I did was traveler's checks, credit cards, and drugs. That's what I did all day with these Cuban refugees that came from Mariel in 1980.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, my mom would always call me a bugarrón, and I didn't know what it meant. A bugarrón is a dude that's like a half a fag, but not really. He goes to prison in Cuba, and he's such a macho Latin guy that he fucks guys, and they suck his dick. But he don't get fucked, and he don't suck nobody's dick. So I never knew about,
Wait,
all right?
I want that to be a T-shirt.
So, bugarrón. We don't suck dick. We just get our dick sucked, right? So,
I'm a total bugarrón.
You can't believe this shit. So I moved to San Francisco. I'm a criminal. And one day, Bambusi comes up to me and he goes, "Do you have a gun?" And I go, "Yeah." And he goes, "Do you want to bodyguard this dude for 3 days?"
Yeah.
And I go, "Sure." He goes, "He pays like $300-400 a day. Do you want to bodyguard him?" I go, "Yeah." I didn't know nothing about bodyguarding, and I wanted to shoot people.
Yeah.
So this is going to be my quickest way of being a bodyguard. So I go to work the next day. I shake the guy's hand. He's a Cuban drug dealer. Married, kids, but he's a bugarrón. The people who help him sell drugs are 2 of his chicks that he just puts wigs on. They're guys. He just puts wigs on them in a dress, and he fills their fucking breasts with little cups, and they got dicks and like a day-old beard. But they make believe they're women. And he beats on them, and he fucks them, then he goes home to his wife, and they suck his dick, and they help him sell drugs.
Yeah.
I was telling these guys, the first day, it was just really simple. I just had to stand on the corner and be a lookout. But the next day, he would beat those 2 women in broad daylight. Like if they made a mistake or something, he would just start smacking them, and they would go down, and he would kick them, the wig would fall off, he'd punch them in the face twice. You can't write this shit.
Yeah.
No writer has ever experienced a bugarrón because they don't know what this is.
Yeah.
And I know that gays today have a name for that. A guy that'll just come over, fuck you in the ass, and you suck his dick, but he don't want nothing else. He don't want no dick.
There was a great comic. I don't know his name. He's got a show on True TV who has a great story about that.
Yeah, there's guys that just...
He did it on This Is Not Happening, I think, this year.
They just want to get their dick sucked.
Yeah.
And fuck you in the ass and move on with their life.
Yeah, maybe steal your wallet.
But who the fuck would listen to that? So I ended up robbing the guy.
Yeah.
About a month later, he comes back with a shipment from Miami, and he doesn't hire me to be a bodyguard, but I know where he's staying.
Yeah.
So I watch him one day leave, and I break into one of his hotel rooms, and I go, and this is the idiot I was. I go in his hotel room, and there's a bag filled with money. American money. I'm talking rubber bands after rubber bands.
Yeah.
I take 2 of the rubber bands, I leave the rest. There's a bigger suitcase filled with Colombian money.
Oh, wow.
With all these Colombian bills. And I'm looking at them, and I'm like, I must have $8 million here. What do you think I did? I left the American money, and I took the Colombian money.
Yeah.
That's how stupid I am. I even hired a bodyguard to walk me to the bank the next day. I hired this big black guy. I'm like, dog, we're getting you paid today.
$8 million in
I got $8 million
money.
Colombian. I went down there, had like 114 cash in that whole satchel. I almost killed myself. Like, I don't, who the fuck writes that? I didn't remember that till I was in San Francisco.
Yeah.
Like last week when I was walking with my wife, I would go, oh shit. You see the store here? I used to bring them traveler's checks by the boxes. And they would give me 60% of the dollar.
Yeah.
So if I showed up here with $1,000 in traveler's checks, they give me $6 and they use the traveler's checks themselves.
Yeah.
It was that kinky back then in '85, you know? You can't write this shit.
You can't. And you know, I remember one time being in a development deal at NBC. Shout out to Tal Rabinowitz. Tal Rabinowitz, I'll say this right now. Someone hit her up and let her know this. The first deal I was ever in, I think the first deal I was ever in, maybe second deal, first deal, she was an assistant at Mindy and Michael Weiss and Scholheis, I think were the names. She was assistant there. Beautiful, Joey. Beautiful. To this day, gorgeous. Like legit,
yeah.
Legit gorgeous. And had a total crush on her. And we wrote her in as the love interest in my sitcom that year. We made her name Tall. And so it was like obvious. Everyone knew I had a crush on her. But super professional. And I'm a coward. I'd never even asked her out on a date. Never even talked to her. I mean, I talked to her in the whatever. But she became the executive of comedy or something, or like the head of comedy at NBC. Go in for a meeting. Don't realize it's her. Sit down. I'm like, oh shit, Tall. She buys it right away. In the room, I think she bought the sitcom. Hire these great writers, really great guys. I can't shit on them. But I will say, in their youth, and in the arrogance of youth, we come up with a sitcom that everyone agrees on, and then they, I think, wrote it for themselves. They wrote it as if they were the lead characters. You know, I remember saying one time to someone, my dad would never say that. It was the whole premise was that you gave my dad marijuana. It was about you, me and you, and we're all here. And you gave my dad marijuana, and the way my dad reacted that day, you remember, my dad was like, "Oh, fuck it," but he was like, "What am I gonna do?" And I was like, "My dad didn't say that." He was like, "No, but that's what my dad would say." I was like, "Yeah, but it's not about your dad. It's about my dad." And this really happened, and there's a real thing that, by the way, like a couple hundred thousand people listen to, and would really connect with to watch the parts that they didn't listen to. You know.
They listened to what they wanted to. They wrote what they wanted to. And I had to tell these guys.
And they're the writers. They deserve to write what they want.
We pitched it 4 times. We got a bite from CISO. Then CISO didn't want to do anything.
Yeah.
Then they came back and they go, we got 3 more meetings. I go, I don't want to go out with that no more.
Yeah.
And they were shocked. I was like...
My buddy, I'm doing a TV show with my buddy Tony, who's... I was unaware in the process of our lives, just stayed friends. Didn't know that like he had just blown up as a TV producer. I almost arguably revolutionized the business entirely. 100%. There's an article about him in Variety about how he changed the way TV's made. And his note was, "I just want to tell your stories. That's it. I just want to tell your stories. I don't want a format. I don't want anything. I just want to tell your stories. That's it. I just want to tell your stories." He was like, if it goes on Facebook, cool. If it goes on YouTube, cool. If we sell it to CBS, great. I don't need the money. I know you don't need the money. I just want to be able to tell your stories and just have fun and make a project. Make a fun project with you. And I was like, dude, that's exactly where I'm at right now in this business. Is I want to do shit that's really fun.
If it's not fun, it's not about the money. Like, I can't listen. I'm too old to do something for the money. I would break it down completely and tell you the truth.
Yeah.
Like, if you call me and say, "Joe, I got a sitcom for you. This is what it pays. 13 weeks. It shoots in Santa Monica." I'll say, "Look, I'm going to tell you something. I like you a lot."
Yeah.
The Santa Monica, that's your big problem.
That's what I love about you. You go, would you tell me one time, "Dog, you can't get me to fucking Santa Monica at 4 p.m.
No. No. Even tomorrow, I was thinking about if I didn't have the parade tomorrow, I was going to go to acupuncture tomorrow.
Yeah.
Because it'd be that easier for me. It'd be a quick 35-minute run to Marina Del Rey.
Because everyone's partying.
Everybody's partying. I can leave here at 9:30 and be back by 12. When my wife told me about the parade, I was pissed. I don't like driving. And I'm not going to drive on weeks I travel.
I went to I got in the car to go to a meeting one time, saw that it was in Santa Monica and was like, how do I get out of this? How do I get... And by the way, it was like a good meeting. The best meeting I ever had was Sacha Baron Cohen's company. It was like right here. It was like 6 minutes away. And I was like... And it was at his house. I was like... I was in my head. I told them at the end of the meeting. I was like, "Hey, by the way, I'll do whatever you want. You don't even have to pay me because I like this drive."
6 minutes. No, it's just so many things now that I would process and say how it would work around I did something really smart about 10 years ago, about 12 years ago. I started running stuff by my wife. And I'll tell you why, because she's not in the business, and she's not a whore like I am. So she would look at me and go, "Why are you doing this for this money? No, call them back, tell them you want this. If not, you're not doing the game."
Because they have no emotional attachment.
They have no
Leanne
emotional
does
attachment.
that shit too.
And they're beautiful. They know exactly. She presses my buttons, and I listen to her.
She said, so this weekend I'm in Columbus, and I got my press list. The big thing we talked about after this week, she was like, "Hey, just don't drink it. I don't even need to do press. I do press for the clubs because press has helped me my entire career.
Sure.
And so I fly in a day early. If the club wants to do press and the shows are sold out, just to do press because that's when that counts for them. And it'll sell tickets for Matt Fultron on Sunday and Thursday, Thursday and Sunday. It'll sell tickets for him, and so I'll fly in. I don't care. I'll take a direct flight on Thursday, make sure I get in for the shows, have a good night, steak dinner, go see Fultron at the club, have a few cocktails, go to sleep, do press." But my wife was like, "Hey, what's the one where they drink at?" Because she knows in Columbus there's one that drinks. I go, "It's the very last one." And I've had so much coffee, I don't mind having a drink. She goes, "Nah, cancel that one. Cancel it and go to the gym." And I was like, "Yeah, but you don't understand like this." She goes, "No, cancel it and go to the gym." And so I was like, "Yeah, but I've known these people for a long." She goes, "No, cancel it. Go to Trader Joe's right by the hotel. Go to the gym, work out. If you want, walk around, go buy something at North Face if you need to. But go to sleep, get a good night, good afternoon sleep, and then go to the fucking club." That having no emotional attachment to it really fucking
really
changes
helps
it.
you.
I don't have that. I have emotional attachment to everything.
No,
I have feelings for Dave Stroop. I love Dave Stroop. I love doing his clubs. I'm grateful for those dates. I'm grateful for the way he treated me business-wise at the beginning of this year, and I owe that guy. If he wants me to do press, my wife, by the way, Leanne, real note was fly in Thursday. Fly in Friday. Just don't do any press. But I'm like that. I'm like you.
I do Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
In Columbus?
I fly to anywhere. I fly in Thursday. I do all the radio Friday they have. Yeah. I don't do podcasts on the road. Sorry, Charlie.
I do some.
No, I don't do any.
I do some.
That's where Leanne is correct. No podcast. We live in the fucking podcast, whatever.
Yeah.
I do a podcast Sunday, Tuesday, Monday, and Wednesday. I'm not going to get on a plane to do a podcast. Yeah. That's never going to happen.
There's one I will tell you that I think's worth it, 100%.
Which one?
Orlando. Tom and Dan.
Yeah, I don't go to Orlando, so it don't matter. Don't matter. No, there's no podcast. We live in the capital podcast.
Yeah.
I don't need to do a podcast on the road.
You're right.
If you don't have legitimate radio, leave me in my room. If I could write a joke or rest or go to the gym, that's it. Listen, on the road now, I don't go nowhere. Yeah, but they got the best rib. That's great. If it's not across the street or walking distance from the hotel, Joey doesn't see it.
I said that this week.
Okay?
I was talking to
No, I don't do nothing.
I don't do shit, man.
I don't do nothing. I don't want to do nothing. I don't want to see nothing. I don't want to do nothing.
Yeah.
I get in Thursday. I go to my hotel room. I take a shit. I take a shower. I roll a joint. I go downstairs. I eat some. I smoke that joint. I go back to my room and I wait till the show starts at what time? 8? Don't pick me up till 7:45, 10 to 8.
Yeah.
I don't want to see nobody.
I don't need to be out.
I go there 5 after 8. Everybody's seated. I go. I do it. I go back to the room Thursday night. Thursday night, I party a little bit.
Yeah.
I'll do an edible. If I got a Xanax, I'll eat a Xanax, smoke a joint. And then Friday, I'll get up early.
What's it like to eat an edible and a Xanax? Do you ever do it together?
Oh, fuck yeah. All the time.
What's it feel like?
It tames the edible.
It tames the edible?
It tames the edible. It's like having a zookeeper. You know what I'm saying? Xanax tames the animal.
Oh.
So, Sometimes you eat an edible and you get too much anxiety, so fuck it. Let me get something prepared. You drop 2 Xanaxes and a 300 milligram, you're on your way.
So did you take the Xanax before the edible?
No, I take the edible first, let it start bothering me a little bit on the flight. And then I pop the Xanax. Then you drink a little Canadian, you drink a little fucking Dewar's and ginger ale. It's all over. You understand? I got the perfect recipe.
That might be my new perfect recipe. Can I tell you what happened? So we were talking about this trip. Maybe I shouldn't say this. Well, I don't give a fuck. I was talking about this trip, and I was saying, the problem is sometimes on the road, the nights will get away from me. Like, you get around, and you had people sending shots to the stage. You have really crazy moments, and then I said, they said, what helps the most? I said, well, in L.A., like if I'm at the store, there's always a joint getting passed around. I know when I'm done, I'll just go take a hit of a joint, and I know that my night's over. I'm going to slow roll my drink. I'm going to go get in an Uber, and I'm going home. And my wife and my therapist were like, can you bring marijuana with you on the road? I think I texted.
You called me.
I called you. And I go, yeah, I could, but it's illegal. And they're like, how illegal? Like, if it's going to help you, just do it. And then I was like, what if I get arrested? And Leanne's like, what if you get arrested? Then you're a comic. You brought weed on the road. That's how that works. Like, you got to look. It's not going to stop you from making money. Who gives a fuck if you get arrested?
Snoop Dogg.
And so part of me was like, I called you up. I was like, how do I bring it? And but I ended up not. But I ended up getting it in Orlando, and that was the perfect end of every night. Was I brought a 1-hitter with me. I take a 1-hitter, and pack it out, smoke it, go to bed, and be done. I think that's part of what didn't happen in New York, although I ended up smoking.
Friday morning, I get back from radio.
Yeah.
I eat breakfast. I get stoned to the gills. I take a joint with me to radio.
Yeah.
I roll 2 joints, one before radio and one after I eat breakfast, and I get back.
Really?
Radio's only 1 or 2 stations now.
I do 4.
So it's not like you're going to be there.
4.
Well, it depends where you go.
Oh, yeah. You go to Omaha, you're doing 1.
We're doing 1.
You're doing Tampa, you're doing 1. You go to D.C., you do 1.
So you come back to your room. I nap from 10:30 till about 1 or 2.
This is going to sound silly. Do you take, I know that you're not you don't really care indica or sativa, but would you smoke an indica to...
I just take indicas.
You and Joe are both like, who gives a fuck? It's weed. Let's smoke it.
No, Joe likes sativa for years.
Yeah.
Everybody he hung out with in Hollywood was on the sativa kick and made you creative. Shut the fuck up. Just smoke the fucking joint and shut the fuck up. I take indica with me, no hybrid indica.
Yeah?
So I got the strongest shit on the road. And I take 3/8. I take 3/8 with me on the road. 3 different types of weed, dog.
Really?
Yeah, because I'm going to be there 3 days.
So you bring 3 different
types
types
of weed. So I want to mix it around.
Because I love that. You introduced me to that Phyllis Diller.
Joints. I bring 2 joints to the show. One for the 8 o'clock show and one for the 10 o'clock for halftime.
Yeah.
And then I put a Xanax in my pocket. Midway during my set, I pop the Xanax. When I leave there, I'm on fire. I'm ready to go to bed.
Yeah.
Friday, I go to the gym around 5. I go back to my room. And 99% of the time, I order room service for dinner.
Really?
Protein. Salmon. Steak.
You don't eat at the clubs?
No.
Really?
No. That shit will kill you.
Yeah.
Shit'll kill you. It's like 3 clubs you could eat at. The rest is just nachos.
The salmon lately at the clubs have been really good.
No, I won't eat salmon at no fucking comedy club. There's no that's all pond salmon. And then I go back to the hotel Friday. I stay up late that night because I want to be able to go to sleep Saturday night when I get back because I'm on the first flight out.
What do you mean? You stay up late? You stay up late Friday?
So I stay up late Friday. 2, Law and Order, whatever's on HBO. I'll bring a Netflix.
Okay.
Get up at 7 or 8 early, eat breakfast at the hotel, get lit at 9, take my medication, and I go back to bed from 9 till about 2. I get up, I write for an hour, I eat lunch, I write in between the lunch, and then I go to the gym, and I work out for an hour. By the time I get back to my room, I got like an hour and a half before I have to go back to the show. Yeah. So everything's quick.
I like that. I love waking up, going to do something like get lunch or something, come back, take a nap. I like waking up around 5, going right to the gym and working out up until the show, about 30 minutes out from the show.
That's it.
And just go
take a shower,
take a shower.
And you're ready to get picked up. Your legs are tightening up. I take a nice cold shower.
Yeah.
So my muscles don't get sore. I do the 2 shows. By the time I leave for my 2 shows on Saturday, I'm already packed. Everything's put away. Computer. The only thing that's out is the clothes for the morning and the shave kit. That's it. I've got a protein shake in the refrigerator for breakfast so I can eat at the fucking thing. And I'm on the first flight out, my friend. I don't give a fuck if I only sleep 2 hours. Last week in Long Island, I went to bed at 1. I was up at 3:30.
Really?
Car picked me up
See,
at
with
4.
booze, that'll kill you.
Yeah, then
I started taking the later flights on Sunday just because I was like, cause I almost missed one in Omaha one time. And I was like, but I love coming home at 10.
10 at night?
No, 10 in the morning. I love when you get home at 10 in the morning.
There's no alcohol on Saturday. There's nothing. I pick up my check. That's the only thing I do at that club. Is I
Do you
pick
look
up
at your
my
check in front of the manager?
Fuck yeah.
I don't.
Fuck yeah.
I don't.
And if there's a discrepancy,
confrontation.
if there's discrepancy that's a couple, I put it in my pocket, and I'll have my agent deal with it. If it's a big discrepancy, I got to raise my hand.
Yeah.
Because it's my motherfucking money. I want to see what his reaction is to my questions and shit.
Yeah.
Put it in my pocket. I take some pictures. I take all the abuse in the world. Come on, one drink. Come on. Good. Yeah, I'll meet you. Yeah, wait for me. I'll be there in 10 minutes. Yeah, come on. You didn't know? Yeah.
Do you do a meet and greet line?
Yeah.
You sell merch?
No.
No?
No. Oh. I only want to focus on stand-up. I don't want to worry about T-shirts. I don't want to worry about them sending them back. I don't want to worry about them sending them. I don't want to put them on the free luggage on American Airlines. I don't want to do none of that stuff. I just want to focus on my stand-up.
Yeah.
I want my stand-up to be top-notch. I never want nobody not to come up to me because they don't have a $25 for my T-shirt. If they listen to the podcast and they've been listening for the last 5 years, come over here, shake my hand, and fucking give me a hug. You want a T-shirt? You want a T-shirt? Go online. Yeah. I'm not carrying T-shirts across the country. I didn't do this to become a salesman. Yeah. And while you're on stage, you're thinking about it. I have to go out there in between shows. Shows are sold out. They don't want you out there. Shows are sold out.
Yeah.
They don't want you out there.
That's the problem.
They tell you. So here you are trying to sell shirts. You got people coming over from the first show, coming back for pictures. The picture ain't right. The shirts are medium. Forget the shirts. And then before you leave, you count them. You got 20 shirts. By the time you get them in the mail on Monday, you got 9 because the staff helped themselves. Yeah. You fucking shirt to $20. Forget it. My wife will send them. That's her job.
Yeah.
Cups, all that shit. I don't want to take nothing on the road. When I'm on the road, I want to worry about stand-up comedy.
I'll tell you the thing. I'll tell you the thing I started doing. We'll talk about it off the thing that is super low maintenance and good money.
You know what, bro? For me, they pay $25 for a ticket.
Yeah,
I want to give them the best show they can.
Okay, what do you think about? How do you feel like if someone said we want to raise your ticket price? What do you feel? How do you feel about that?
To go fuck themselves.
Really?
I keep it all under control.
Yeah.
My ticket price is $25, $26.50, $20 on a fucking Thursday, $22 on a Friday early, $25. Yeah. These idiots try to joke them up. You're insulting people. You're just insulting people. I had the guy from Milwaukee tell me, he goes, I don't know how many comics have come in here, sold 1,000 seats, gone up to $26.50, sold $1,400 the next year, came back the next year, sold $1,900, and guess what they do the fourth year? $60. Guess what happens? They go right back to 900 tickets. I'm not into all that. We have so many avenues to make money as a comedian in today's world. You don't have to fuck people in the ass.
Yeah.
You know, my big beef, like for me to vote for you, it's not going to be for your GOP or your insurance. What happened to this country's ability for you to take Lila and Georgia and your wife to a Dodger game? You're very fortunate.
Yeah.
You go to 10 Dodger games a week, but most American families can't. How about the Lakers? You know how many Knicks games I went to see as a child? Yeah. 200. Yeah. I went to Christmas Day against the Sixers. NBA on CBS on Christmas Day. Yeah. Those tickets are $15. America can't do that. No. I'm going to St. Louis next week. Okay? There's only one airline that goes direct. You know how much that plane ticket was? For a direct flight for economy? No. $706 on American Airlines. Really? Okay? What if I had 3 kids and I wanted to take them to Kansas City to see their mother or St. Louis? Yeah. So what I try to do is I always thought comedy was the offset of a movie. I go see Baby Driver, It's sold out. Everything else is sold out. I look around. Hey, Bert Kreischer's over there.
Yeah.
Let's go over there. How much could it be? 21, 22? But I don't think it should be $35. That's $70 and a 2-drink minimum. Plus a surcharge and all that shit. I had someone say
that to me one time.
I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. I don't want to work for people who put a surcharge on their websites. I take care of my people. I keep my T-shirts low. I see what people charge for their T-shirts and mugs.
What do you
Look
charge
at my
for
shit.
T-shirts?
$20?
Yeah. $20.
$20.
Yeah.
The flat 20.
I saw someone selling them for 25. I said, "What the fuck's wrong with
25, 35. They got better material."
Yeah, I go. It's $20. It's so much easier for someone to give you $20 in my head than 25. And then my other thing I look at is like the one thing, and I talked to a bunch of people about this. The beginning of this year is I got theater offers for the first time, and I was like, "Oh, cool! I definitely want to go do theaters." Ticket prices were like $35, and I went, "No, man, my fans. I mean, I'm not saying my fans don't have money, but I'll tell you right now, my fans have money. But if they're going to come see me, I want their night to be full of fun. I want them to be able to get a car service and get a taxi, drink, get loaded, have a good dinner, get home, have a sitter."
Guess what I did?
What?
I got all the booking agents from CAA, and I got them all on a conference call. And I said, just so you know, because Frosty called from New York, and he's like, "There's a theater that wants to book you. It's a subscription. The tickets are $55. Yeah, but you're going to make this. I don't give a fuck what I'm going to make. I don't want to insult them.
I don't want them to call.
I don't want them to insult them.
Because them saying to each other online, no offense, I'm not going to go. So Bert's not worth $55. Then that hurts me because I go, hey man, first of all, I think I'm worth $1 million, but I think on your theater dollar budget, on your budget, go see a show, it's $20, $25. If I charge $30, it's only because I have theater offers that are offering fucking $100 tickets, and I go, I want to stay in the clubs. I want to do Fridays and Saturdays, do 4 shows. I don't want to sit because the way I look at it is I don't want to go to the have to go to the store Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday to write material. I want to write material. I want to go to the store on Monday, Tuesday, or Tuesday, Wednesday. Maybe do Kill Tony on Monday, jump into a belly room, do 3 shows on a Tuesday, jump into a main room sometime. But for me, I write material Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then I come home. When my time in LA, I want to spend it with my family. And so that time that I write, the time that I work, the time that I do stand-up, if you want to see it, it's not a $60 ticket.
No.
Someone's going to.
I don't want to do it.
I'm going to be super famous next year, and someone's going to go, "You said it wasn't $60."
You know, it's funny because last year we were both part of the tour that canceled.
Yeah. Oh.
And this is very funny.
Man,
the tickets were $115 for 4 shows.
They were what?
$115 a ticket for all those shows.
Who did that?
Whoever the fuck, Live Nation. And then Gabriel had bought those tickets. So Gabriel says, "I'm already committed. I'm going." So when they all canceled, Gabriel had the power to call the Fort Lauderdale Improv and do Thursday, Friday, Saturday, the 6 o'clock show. Now, Live Nation at first blamed it all on Gabriel. Like, you didn't sell no tickets.
Yeah.
Gabriel went and sold out all those Fort Lauderdale shows.
And that's a big
at
club.
$60 a ticket.
What?
$60 was so people wouldn't pay the $115 for Gabriel, Sebastian, Tom Segura, you, me, but they paid
Eliza.
the $60 for Gabriel.
Yeah.
It didn't make sense to me, and I started thinking, $100, you throw people like right now. Amy Schumer's charging $100. You don't know how many times I've gotten in an elevator with people at a town, and they were like, "Jesus Christ, we went to see Amy Schumer last week.
Yeah.
I spent $300 on tickets, and we had nosebleeds." You know, I don't... Listen, man, I never got into this business to be successful, to be Richard Pryor. I knew the odds were against me. I was a convicted felon. I had a certain way of thinking. For me, just to have the privilege to do this has been an honor. That I don't have to rob houses or drug dealers and I can sleep at night.
Yeah.
So that to me is enough. That to me is enough.
Yeah.
The money part of it is great, but I lived without money for so long that you're not going to really... somebody had a great line one time. You can't bribe a person who doesn't want money. Can't bribe me no more.
Yeah.
20 years ago in L.A., you could have talked me into shit. Now...
you can't. Yeah, you couldn't talk me into a $100 ticket.
That girl and that woman 2 blocks from here are the most important thing in the world to me. I got a second chance. I got a second chance at my health. Those are the number 1, 2 things in me. Stand up and everything else is background music.
Yeah.
Someday stand up is going to end. I'm writing the book in August. The kid's coming. Yeah. I hired a writer, an assistant writer. I'm getting a new computer. In August, I'm writing the proposal once and for all. I wrote it and it got swollen. The website went out of business, LitLift, so they took 5 of my chapters. So I was cracked for 6 weeks. I said, that's it. I hope to get the offer by December so I could start writing the book the first half of next year. Justin's got bad news coming because I'm not going on the road. I'm going to stay in town and write this. This book is more important to me than anything in the world.
The last thing Leanne said today, so we were talking about the road. She was like, how much does Joey do the road? And I said, none. I said, Joe, it takes either Joey's got to know you and like you, or it's got to be worth his time, like Friday, Saturday.
Me?
Yeah.
Thursday, Friday, Saturday?
Yeah.
I'm a hard worker.
Yeah.
Thursday, Friday, Saturday, but I'm on the first flight out, on the first flight in. I know exactly how to do it. I don't want no drama. I felt that, listen, I'm not a fucking pussy. I've worked 8 weeks in a row and 12 weeks in a row.
You did the legit road work that Stanhope talks about, where it's like
6 months on a shot.
Yeah.
Okay, but when numbers started selling, the longest I did was 12 weeks. And I took 2 weeks off and I went out for another 8 with Justin. Justin knows I'm a workhorse. The problem was when I was doing a Justin style, I was 50 pounds heavier because of the lack of sleep and the traveling.
Yeah,
I was. The numbers on the podcast were good, but once I started doing it my way, it went from 100,000 to millions of downloads.
Yeah.
So, like I told you, I want to give enough attention to my wife, my child, podcasting, writing, my health, and stand-up. For me to make all those things work, you got me for 2 weeks. That's it. And I could excel in every area that's provided, that's put in front of me. After those 3 weeks, it's the law of diminishing returns. I might make that extra money with that extra week, but things start to suffer. I'm a little tired. I didn't book a guest that week.
Man, that could not.
I didn't go to jiu-jitsu that week.
That's exactly what it is, Joe.
No, and I don't want to do that.
That's exactly what it is.
I don't give a fuck what they tell me. Every time I go to CA, another agent pulls me aside and said, man, you'd make so much more progress. This morning I went online to put a clip up. Yeah. A clip up for a week, a night I'm doing. It was a true story, guys. And when I'm looking for my date, I saw that Sebastian's there this week, and he sold out 5 shows. And I'm there on the 29th, and my tickets are still selling. This guy sold 5 shows out. He sold 5,000 seats at the same place where I'm doing 1 show, and I might sell out 1 show. He sold out 5 of them. I got to be honest with you. For 9 seconds, I said, maybe I should start going on the road and looking at that side of my life a little more. No. Doesn't really matter what Sebastian's doing. Yeah. I've carved a niche out for myself. I'm very happy with it.
Yeah.
I'm very happy I don't have to rub shoulders with people I don't really like anymore. I'm very happy I don't have to go to the store 5 nights a week. I'm very happy I don't have to go there on ego night with all the ego comedians talking and telling their stories. I'm very happy about that. This is what makes me happy. I can't be around people I really don't enjoy 150%. 2 weeks a month, everybody prospers from me. I'm in a good mood. I'm not rushed. I'm not tired. I'm refreshed. My material will be... You ever get to do the late show on Saturday?
No.
And you can't just fucking wait. Like, you just want...
Oh, yeah. I thought you were talking about the store. I was like, no, I never do Saturdays.
What happens when you're on the road as a comic is the first week is very... Like, let's pretend this next week. I go to Vegas. I got 2 shows. I do the shows. I get off stage at 9. I talk to people till about 9:30. I smoke a joint. I go to my room. Maybe I eat something and I go to bed.
Yeah.
And then I do the same Sunday, and I come Saturday, and I come home. That's 1 week under your belt. And then Sunday I got a podcast, Monday I got a podcast, Tuesday I got a spot, and Wednesday I'm on a plane to St. Louis. Okay? Thursday's going to be great, man. I love Thursdays.
Yeah.
I love Thursdays. That's my night to sell tickets. There's only one show. I can take pictures with everybody. They put them on Twitter. People see you're approachable. They come to the shows. They heard you on Rogan. They saw you on Ari's show. Now you just give them that last push. They heard you on Bert. They heard you on Fighter and the Kid. There's something they know you from, but they need that last push to go into the wallet and take that credit card out.
Yeah.
I love Friday. Saturday, I love because I'm going home. I can look at pictures of my daughter. I'm going to see her in 24 hours. Yeah. I'll be home at 10. They're going to leave. They come back at 1. It gives me 3 hours to take a shower and go through my paperwork and staple my receipts and put all my shit together, plane tickets and my check stubs. That's how I like to feel. I want to feel excited. On Saturday night, while I'm taking pictures, if I'm telling people to shut the fuck up and hurry up and I don't want to do it, I can feel myself becoming cunty.
Yeah.
There's no Snickers bar that takes that. That means you're actually burnt the fuck out.
Yeah.
That means you're burnt out. When you're doing that last half hour and you're like, I'll never say this joke again. I can't wait to get this joke out. So I have to say this again for the next 5 fucking days. Well, I don't have to. That's when you know you don't belong there.
Yeah.
And that's how I was feeling on the 4th week. And then then I come in on Sunday and I fell asleep, so I didn't get a guest for Monday. It just doesn't work.
Yeah.
It just doesn't work for me. I'll be so tired from the 3 weeks on the plane that Monday and Tuesday I won't go to jiu-jitsu. And I won't work out because you pay for everything.
Man, Joey, this conversation couldn't happen at a better time because that's what's happening to me right now is I'm going on the road really hard, and I think Tom is too. Tom and I have talked about this.
Well, Tom is shooting a special in September. I see where Tom is coming from. This is training camp. Okay, training camp is completely different.
Yeah.
Training camp is different. If you come to me right now and says you're shooting your Netflix special in March, I'm going to lighten this schedule up till October. The next 2 months, I'm just going to write. I'm going to do hours at the Ice House every week with a tape recorder. And if I get one sentence
He's burning it hard.
What's that?
Tom's burning it hard.
Yeah, okay. So if you do that, you're shooting a special. You got to burn it.
Yeah.
You got to burn it. I would burn it differently. I would go out 3 weeks and then do a week at the Ice House, like just 3 nights of 1 hour.
Okay, so I never looked at it like training camps. I'm shooting my special in February.
So you have a training camp that starts in November.
That's
November
when you start
1st.
it?
November 1st.
So right now it's just throwing shit out.
Right now you're throwing shit out. By November 1st, you've got your hour.
Yeah.
You've got what you want to talk about. Now you want to have 1:15, 1:30. I'll tell you why. Because after the hour shoots, you want to have 20 minutes to start with. Don't do. That's what I learned this time. Never.
Joey, that is the most brilliant.
Oh my God,
ever.
It's terrible. Because now you're lost.
Brilliant statement.
Now you're lost in limbo, doing material. So this is what I don't like about the hour situation.
Okay.
I'm shooting an hour. So from November,
might as well pour another drink,
to February, you're going to do that hour every night.
Every night.
Guess what? Now the special comes out in March, and everybody's seen that hour.
Yeah.
The last 12 weeks, the last 12 cities have seen that hour out of 25 cities that you go to.
They will have seen it from November when I started writing this hour in really shitty forms from November to February. So I will overlap a couple of cities, I'm sure.
So now what you do is you get the when you shoot the special, you have an hour 30, an hour 35. You put an hour 10 down, and you still have 20 minutes left to start your new hour.
20.
Not only that,
what was not your weakest, but you can turn it into strong. What was your weakest, but you can turn it into strong.
Now the other thing you do is that if you have an hour and a half, you can mix it up, because if you use an hour of that, the people will say, well, I heard that, but I didn't hear that. So now you got to mix it up every other night. You should mix it up with that other half hour. So every night you're doing 3 different Every night you're doing 2 different half hours, but you really have 3 half hours. You break it down into that micro, macro, where you have 3 half hours, and you're basically going to do 2 of them, but you're going to alternate to 3. You don't know. You really don't know when you're going to alternate them. If it takes you to that second bit, bam, and then you're going to start mixing and matching. So when your hour really comes out, they've only seen 30 minutes of it.
Yeah. Yeah. This last hour I took all the stuff I loved, put it in. All the stuff that killed, I thought that was really good, put it in. Oh, those are amazing. You ever had one?
No.
But then this new hour, I've got a solid 35. That's it.
Me too. I got a solid 18 right now. If somebody offers me an hour, I got nothing.
I could do 35 that I'm really proud of. I don't know how to get into it technically. I know that when it starts and it ends, it's good. And then Leanne watched it and was like, there's 7 minutes in there that's really hacky. And I was like, really? And she was like, yeah, I had this really great hand job that I was afraid of, that I loved. And Leanne was like, first of all, I feel like I heard Patrice tell that before. And I was like, what? She was like, I don't know. I just feel like I heard Patrice tell that before. And then she was like, and there's only one good line in it. So I stripped it out. And then now I'm just telling the one good line in it. And then, and I have this fucking Ralph Sampson bit that if I could use Dune-buggy Jones, that's the fucking greatest, Joey. That's the fucking greatest, man. We should do why haven't we never done a theater together? Like me, you, and Tommy, or me, you, and Ari. Just for not for the money, but for the fun and to watch each other's sets and to help each other out. Is it because we don't have the same agents?
Yeah, probably. They've tried to put a couple of things together, but we're all doing our own thing, man.
It would just be fun for me, you, Stanhope, and Ralphie. Just do a theater together. And do favored nations, which I'm sure isn't fair to 3 of you guys, but because you guys all, I mean, you guys would sell the majority of the tickets.
Yeah, but still, it would still be fun.
Be fun.
I just don't know how long I could tolerate it. There's too many personalities to deal with.
Yeah,
it's too much for me. You know what people don't realize in this fucking town.
Yeah,
that nobody will ever tell you is that I've known Stanhope since 1991.
Yeah.
None of you motherfuckers. You heard of him in 2000.
Yeah.
I already knew in 92 that Stanhope was going to be something. First time I saw him, he was a feature act in Boulder.
Yeah.
And he stayed at my house.
Yeah.
And then he came back the next year, and he was a headliner. He had Evening at the Improv.
Really?
Then he disappeared. And I kept hearing rumblings about this kid that lives in his car that's fucking hilarious. And I forgot his name. And I asked somebody one day, does this kid have long hair and is really dirty? I go, is his name? And they said Doug. And I go, that's him. So I lived in Seattle, and I was hearing about Doug. And then he destroyed the San Francisco comedy competition.
The one he did against Dane.
Yeah, and they robbed his car, and he had to go to a secondhand store and buy a suit, and he won the $10,000 and all that stuff. And that's when Doug was making like a splatter. Like I remember, Doug, listen, the first time Joe Rogan seen Doug Stanhope, it wasn't pretty. Joe left there like, what the fuck was that? Because
really?
Joe was straight then.
Really?
Joe was very straight. And the first thing Joe said to me the next morning was, that guy drank 12 beers on stage. He's got a problem. That's what Joe looked at. Like, that's the first thing Joe noticed.
Really?
Like, Joe was like, he did 12 beers, they drank 8 shots. Like, that's how uptight Joe used to be.
Really?
Before Joe smoked pot, there's a story about Joe going off on me, Ricky, and Ralphie for getting high behind the Comedy Store one day.
Ricky
Cruz
and I went to college together.
Me, Ricky, and Ralphie, one night, they were going to that strip club. What's that stupid strip club down
the clown room?
No. The one down the corner from the Comedy Store.
Oh, I know the one.
The popular one.
Yeah, right across from Dublin.
And we didn't want to go. And they kept going, why not? We got shit to do. Joe had his buddies there, and we were smoking a joint. And Joe's like, this is why you guys stayed here? What's wrong with you guys? You guys have a problem.
Really?
Yeah, man. And then about a year later, he met Eddie. And he started getting high, and then everything changed. Then everything changed. Like lightened up 100. Once he started smoking pot, it was two different people.
Really?
He called me that night. He goes, I just had the best ice cream sundae I've ever had in my life. I go, what are you talking about? He goes, I got high tonight. It was great. He did ecstasy, too, one time in Dallas. When I first met him, I was doing drugs, but he wasn't, and he did ecstasy. And he was pissed. Like, he was pissed that he did it. Joe's very self-conscious. Like we all are, but he's a little bit more.
Pretty bad.
So it was really weird that's how Joe was to her. Like, Joe was very by the book, and then weed and life, and he met his wife and kids, and now he's the man he is, you know. You know, we all have grown. You know, when Josh said those statements about me, I felt the growth, but we've all grown, you know. But the Stanhope thing, like, I love Doug Stanhope.
Oh, I love Doug.
I love everything about Doug. I've known Doug's mother with the fake tits, the cats. Doug just shows up with 9 people I don't want to be around.
Yeah.
Like last week he was in town.
Oh, was he?
And his publicist called me, and they said, he wants to do the podcast. I said, he can do the podcast, but here are the rules. Because it's my fucking podcast.
Was he on your podcast?
No, because we couldn't come to... I love Doug. Yeah. But he's in a show with 4 people. I can't have that on my podcast. Yeah. I can't have 4 people in my office. They drive me crazy. Yeah. You know, and they're hippies, whatever the fuck. I can't have that. I can't have that.
Whatever the fuck.
I can't have that. I love Doug. Doug's my brother. He's my brother, bro.
Yeah.
My brother. I love him more. I love him more than most. I miss him. I miss him around the store because he would straighten people out. Like, I love when he's on Joe's podcast. Yeah. I encourage him to smoke. Like, whenever he's on Joe's podcast, I'll stop and get a pack of Marlboro Lights from him. Really? Because every time he puts a cigarette in his mouth and you hear this, look at Joe's face.
Really?
Oh, my God. Joe.
I forget there's backstory with that.
Joe will be talking to somebody, and Doug will be here smoking, and every time he hears, he'll just look over like, Joe don't like cigarette smoke and shit. Yeah. So it's I've known, you know, there's so many things I love to do right now. Yeah. But the reality is I'm 54 years old, and my plate's full. I got 2 weeks a month. My plate's full. Yeah. My plate's fucking full. You know, you want me to go somewhere? Like, I'm doing this month. I got 3 weeks. That's a rarity because Vegas is
like this month.
Vegas, St. Louis, and then I got one night to Borgata. Oh, nice. So I fly in Friday, 2 in the afternoon. Great. Go to my room, eat a steak, work out, go to bed early, get up Saturday. That's going to be great. Do the show, and I'm back on a 6 a.m. flight Sunday morning. I get to L.A. at 10:30. Wow. There's no drama in my life, bro. And I feel bad for people. I really feel bad for people. But they don't understand that I get off on that. I have been like this since I'm 20. Yeah. When I was 20, I would play tricks on my friends. And I couldn't believe how crazy it would drive them. Like, just disappearing on a Friday. Yeah. And I'd just be home watching TV with a bong. And they'd be going like, why didn't you, where were you Friday night? It's the busiest night of the week. Doesn't mean nothing to me. Last week at Governor, some kid came up to me. And he was this great kid. But he asked me 4 times after the show, what are you drinking? You want to do a shot? I told him 10 times. I don't want to do a shot. I'm just going to drink soda and talk to this guy here. You want to take a picture? Let's do it. Again. Do you want to come on, man? What kind of shot do you want? Yeah. Dog, I don't want to. Like, they don't get it. That I'm not going to budge at all. Yeah. Like, people do not understand that it's the way I am. And you're not going to. I don't give a fuck. Like, I don't even like people who drink at dinner. Really? Like, when I go to a restaurant with you and you start ordering cocktails, it bothers me. We came here to eat. You want to drink? Go somewhere else. Go somewhere else. Take a fucking hike. When I go to drink and snort Coke, I want to drink and snort Coke. Don't play pool. I don't want no darts flying through the fucking air while I'm trying to play pool. Yeah, when I drink and snort, I don't want movement. I don't like movement.
Yeah.
Like if right now me and you brought 2 chicks here, I don't like a lot of movement.
Really?
Once they start talking, relax. Let's call my friend. No, don't call your friend Cindy because ain't nobody else coming here. I'll throw them out. I got a certain amount of coke. Both these are sucking dick, and that's all that's going to happen here tonight. I don't like no outsiders. Like that scene with Goodfellas, when she said there was never no outsiders.
Yeah.
I grew up, there's no outsiders.
Yeah.
When I invite Bert to my house, don't bring somebody.
Yeah.
Come solo. Don't bring none of your creepy friends I don't know. I don't want them to see what we're doing here. Like, I was raised, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm more secretive. I don't like movement when I was snorting. You know why I didn't like people around me when I was doing coke?
Why?
Because I don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear it. Snort the coke and shut your mouth and watch TV, all right?
I didn't like people, if I was doing coke, I didn't like people that messed with the radio.
Anything.
I was fucking driving nuts.
Anything.
Like, I was like, if we're listening to that song, let's listen to the whole song.
No, let's move it. The TV, once it's 6 or 7 people, I take my cocaine and go home. I like snorting with 1 or 2. And women, like if I never brought a woman up to my room that was 50-50.
Really?
Yeah, like if she's like, well, I have a boyfriend, listen, here's the deal.
Yeah.
I got an 8-ball of coke. You want to do a line, we're going up to my room. But I'll tell you what, and within an hour, we'll put you to work. What does that mean? It means you're going to be sucking dick, and I'm going to be eating your pussy and eating ass. And they would turn pale.
Yeah.
And some of them would walk away, but some of them would come. If they came, they knew what time it was. I didn't play. Don't come here to snort my coke and tell me a story you're on the period, because I'll throw you out the window. I would even tell them, you're not on your period, are you? No. Okay. Then you come up, because if you waste my time with that bloody pussy, you come up and you got that bloody pussy, and all I got to do is suck titties and get a blowjob. I'm going to be pissed the fuck
We're
off.
such different people.
Oh, no. I don't like none of that shit. I don't like no drama.
I would never say any of that. And I would totally go to dinner and have, that's like...
No, I know.
Can I get I'm going to start.
No, I never understood. When I go to eat, I go to eat. You want to drink, go over there and drink with your buddies.
It's interesting that tomorrow we'll be hanging out and decorating bikes and going on. Like, it's interesting that we're friends, but we're so different people.
I had a friend in high school. I loved him to death. I still talk to him. One of my best friends in life. He was always Johnny Wumbois. All right? When we were kids and we go to his house. Johnny from Bois. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm the type of guy. You got wine, Bert? You got any wine?
Yeah.
Give me the fucking bottle. You give me the bottle, and I pour it in his glass, and I drink it.
Yeah.
No. There's always assholes. Hold on. Let me go get a wine glass.
Yeah.
Just give me the fucking glass. I got to wait. Just pour the fucking wine in there. What's the difference? Well, the wine glass, the aromatic, listen, shut the fuck up before I smack you. Just give me the fucking wine.
Yeah.
He would always come down with wine glasses. It would piss me the fuck off to no end. And the girls would be impressed. Oh, my God, shut the fuck up. Drink the wine. Just shut the fuck up. Drink the fucking wine, you know? Like, I'm one of those guys. I don't like no drama. And the people I grew up... I remember one time going to dinner with my friends. I'll never forget this. I still talk to them. The Holloways. Roger had just graduated high school. The craziest family I grew up with.
Yeah.
Dad was a bookie. Mom worked in the city on a ship, like for a shipping company. And it's his 18th. We just graduated high school. And he took us to a fancy restaurant. And I'll never forget, the guy comes over with the thing in front of him.
Yeah.
Mr. Holloway says, can I get a bottle of wine? The guy comes over with the thing in front of him. And he takes the bottle. And he pours a little. And he tastes it first. I'll never forget, in high school, my friend looked, and he goes, da. Just give me the fucking wine. The guy's face turned pale.
Really?
Like, just give me the wine. I don't want no show.
Yeah.
You don't have to taste it. You don't do nothing. Just take a fucking hike. Give me the wine. Like, we all froze at the table.
Oh.
Like, I grew up with people like that. Like, one time we were at a buffet, and some fat chick was eating ribs, and I kept looking at my friend Roger. And he was eating, but he kept looking at her. And he would look at it, and he would get mad, and he'd look at it. And finally, I saw him put the fork down, and he threw the napkin down. He went up to the chicken. He goes, let me ask you a question. Because she kept eating all the spare ribs. There was this place that gave you half a spare rib.
Yeah.
And she was taking all of them, and she was dipping her fat little fingers in the spare ribs and putting them back.
Oh.
And my friend, like 2 weeks after the incident with the fucking wine guy, he went up to this chicken and he goes, let me ask you a question. Before you eat that wing, before you eat that rib, do me a favor. Go to the bathroom, look at your ass, and ask yourself, do I really need this rib? I'll never forget, we turned purple.
Yeah.
The people I grew up with were very, like, we don't like chit-chatter.
Yeah.
There's no chit. Like, my wife, she would have got killed.
Really?
Like, my friends would have stabbed her.
That's so funny.
Terry's a sweetheart.
Yeah, but she's someone that...
She likes to do chit-chatter, and I'm deaf.
Yeah.
Don't be chit-chattering. If you got something to say it. Don't be chit-chattering.
Yeah.
I don't like that sitcom mentality, like little jokes. My friends would have killed her.
Yeah.
My friends would have stabbed her. They didn't like that either. You get in the car with them, shut the fuck up. Somebody comes to the window, say what you got to say. We're from that mentality.
Yeah.
Like, we don't know nothing. Hey, where's the park? I don't know. Are you guys going? I don't know where we're going. Go. Step on it. I don't know. We don't know nothing. We came from that type of society, like Santeria. Like the Cuban religion, right?
Yeah.
It's so funny that I went to jiu-jitsu the other day, and there was a kid, because I go to 2 different places to jiu-jitsu. And I went to this one place the one day, and the kid has a friend of mine, and that guy's a big Santeria guy. And he goes, do you talk to him a lot? I talk to him 3 times a week. I'm just not involved in his type of Santeria. And he goes, what do you mean? I go, I was raised with Santeria, you kept it quiet. He's raised like Jesus, that he's spreading the word and getting people that don't really know.
He's in Santeria.
It's funny because I've been to his things, and it's white people who don't know what they're getting involved into.
Yeah.
They're just doing it to be cool. This is a place where religion is very cliquish. People aren't really religious in California.
Yeah.
They're really not. They go to church because, like, I went to that church on the corner of Moore Park and Colfax. My wife goes to that church with the baby on Sundays.
Yeah.
Do you know why I never went back there?
Why?
Because a girl told me at church, oh, my God, the guy from Breaking Bad's father comes here. And the story.
God.
I went to Catholic church once in Hollywood. The guy was the usher. That's the only people would go to James Woods.
Yeah.
Was the usher at that church. That's the only reason why people would go there, was to see James Woods and to ask him questions about casino. That's not religion where I came from.
Yeah.
So it's so weird. He goes, really? Is Santeria that much different? I go, no, it's more quiet than Cuban religion. We're not throwing it in your fucking face. So you're sitting there going, what the fuck are these people doing?
Yeah.
It's more quiet. He's a black guy. He walks around with a white robe on. He's great at what he does, but it's 2 different styles.
Yeah.
I came from a style, my whole society was very more quiet. Don't speak unless you're spoken to. If you don't know, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
If you don't know, don't say to me, well, I didn't know. Then you shouldn't have said nothing.
Right.
If you didn't know, don't say nothing. Don't fucking say nothing, That's the kind of... So it's kind of... that's where I'm different. Like, I don't like the chit-chatter. Like, I guess like Tom Segura.
Yeah. You and Segura.
When I leave the store, like, I love comics, but it's so weird. Like, I don't find the social life with comics.
Yeah.
Like, there's very few comics I have a social life with. I'm friends with Joe Rogan. He's my brother, but I'm not social with Joe Rogan. Our children don't play together. We don't really do anything together except comedy. Yeah. Joe and I are completely different individuals. But when Joe and I sit down on a plane together, and there's no distractions, when we talk comedy, Joe knows what the fuck I'm saying.
Yeah.
And Joe respects what the fuck I'm saying and where I'm coming from with it. But Joe and I are 2 completely different people. I love him, You say you like to drink at dinner. I can't. You know that, right? I can't. Yeah. Because when I was broke, I have that mentality from when I was broke. When you're broke, you take a girl on a dinner, you got $100. This bitch wants to order a $14 mojito. Bitch, there goes your appetizer. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I used to drink, like, when you're broke and the chick's ordering drinks, you can't even focus. You're just counting on the $8 a pop.
Yeah.
When you got $120 to spend, you got to fuck it, you want to get blow. So that's why.
I think someone's breaking into my house.
No.
I think someone's breaking into my fucking house.
Where?
Hold on.
Well, you got the alarm?
Twice, man. Holy shit.
What did you hear?
The garage door open.
Oh, okay, I didn't hear shit.
I pissed my pants. I gotta piss. We should wrap this up, Joey. We've done 3 hours.
What time is it?
It's midnight.
Jesus Christ.
Fuck yeah. It's midnight.
Beautiful. Thank you for having me.
Brother, I love you.
A pleasure. St. Louis next week. The Borgata, July 29th. That's it.
I love you, brother.
I love you.
I'll talk to you after this.
All right.
I'll see you tomorrow.
All right, brother. Bye.
This episode was brought to you by The Machine.